that everyone is freaking out about, even though it's not even going to come near us. Everyone is losing their minds.
How much milk and bread do you have in the house?
Oh my gosh, dude! I went to the grocery store after I left work because we needed some like
Milk
cheese
and bread.
milk and some other stuff, and it was like 3 lanes open, and there was 20 plus people in each lane, so it's crazy. And I'm like, what are y'all freaking out for? Like, they literally told us that the hurricane isn't even coming near us now. It's so.
What's up, Scott? I'll be seeing you out here. I got these comments. We out here. Chris is full of energy. We're not worried about hurricanes.
We're not. But the time has come. I've been looking forward to this episode for the past month that we've been talking about doing it. This is episode 11 of CornStars. This is the 2023 draft where we are going to plan out some pairings and do our thing and just talk some corn snakes and other goodies. So we're joined by Alex Horvath once again of Keystone Corns.
What's up?
The man himself. This show is brought to you by BlackBoxCages.com. Check them out. Facebook, Instagram. If you're looking for an incredibly well-built cage that will last a lifetime, you need to be going to BlackBox and either checking out the website or hitting us up and seeing what your options are. And then you need to head on over and follow Silent Hill Reptiles on Facebook and Instagram as well. JT and Mindy are two of our favorite people. And they make some awesome corns. How's everybody doing? KP, what's new?
You know,
in the desert.
You know, we're doing well. We're doing well. Today's a good day. The sun rose. It has decided to set, and 6 foot over, not 6 foot under. Can't complain. You know, feeling good. Ready to do this. Super pumped up. Stoked to have my man Alex on here.
What's up?
Should be good.
Yeah, should be good. I'm doing good. Got through the workday and then got home, and the wife has COVID.
Oh no! I'm very sorry to hear that.
It's a good day. It'll be all right. She'll be fine.
That's it's kind of rough.
She'll be all right. She'll pull through. It'll be fine. No big deal.
We've had COVID before.
Yeah. Daytona gave me COVID. That was an experience.
The Florida parting gift.
Dude, the Florida's parting gift was a 10-hour flight home to North Carolina for some reason, and mega COVID because I had never had it. My poor little heart was just palpitating. It's like, don't die.
Survive.
But yeah, man, it's good. I'm really excited. The temps are getting a little cooler here. We're kind of consistently in the 80s. I think next week we might be getting in the 60s, which is kind of it's exciting. You know, snakes are done eating, ready to go into our simulated cool box because obviously we can't cool them anywhere else here. But yeah, definitely been missing chatting with my homies. So this is going to be good. This is going to be a fun episode. We're live.
What's up, Mike?
Mike, how you doing?
Mike Stefani.
Mike Kosicki out here hanging out. Robert, how you doing? Mike.
Alex.
Bill Bradley. We're out here making moves. Lizard Brain Radio. What's up? Yeah, Scott, I do. We have CoolBots on our cooling systems. I actually have an air conditioning unit that goes in my closet here. And then also I work with John Lassiter, who has a CoolBot set up in his whole garage where we cool all of our Kings down to 55 degrees. So that's super exciting. It's the only way we can do it,
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're doing a fun one. You know what, Justin? We're getting off track. How are you? How are you doing today? How are you feeling?
I'm fine. This time change is killing me, but other than that,
you just got to not sleep anyways. You know what? Just work until the depression makes you smile. You know what I mean?
It's
solid advice.
You're working and then you look at the clock thinking that it's like 3 or 4 and it's 2, and you're like, what? It's that first week or two of just adjusting to it, and to me it's so bizarre that we even struggle to adjust to it anyways, because if you think about it, clocks and time are a man-made thing, like a man-made concept, and it's like nothing really changes. Just the amount of daylight we get during the day is now shorter, but because we put a number back on a clock, all of a sudden our brains are like, what?
Yeah, it's
Wow.
I think we're the last country left doing daylight savings time, and I know that Arizona straight up doesn't do it. So
This is supposed to be the last year, at least that South Carolina's doing it. And then I don't know what's going to happen after that. It's like, so are you going to have like a third of the country that is doing daylight savings time, a third of the country that isn't, a third of the country that is like doing it for like 2 more years? What a nightmare.
and then there's going to be like Wyoming, and they're like, "What's daylight savings
Yeah,
time?
they're like,
is that something? Is that when Peepaw would move the clock?
People in Alaska are like, you guys have nighttime?
Y'all have nighttime? Y'all see the sun the whole year? It's wild. Imagine.
What are you smoking there, buddy?
I have the Sin Compromiso.
Ooh, yes.
I saved this one for a special time. I forget which size this is. Starts with
a personal favorite. Intrepido?
Yeah, Intrepido. Yeah.
That's a phenomenal cigar.
And she is tasty
Saka's
as can
best.
be. Yeah.
You don't look like you're lit all the way though.
It's been aging for a while, and I think it's not loving its life the most. But I just had a good ash off it. So.
Well, that's funny because I'm smoking Saka too, Mike Rita, and that.
Oh, those are gangster.
7x64. I was like, big. You know what? It's the draft. Let's go big. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, hey Skylar, my face looks very kissable. Well, here, let me get a little closer for you. Because Daddy, it is kissable. You know what I mean? At all times. Jesus. 24/7.
He said he'd be on his shit.
I'm on my shit. Yeah.
He's on it.
I am going to take a little moment. There's a little sadness. You know what I mean? In all stories that are exciting like today, there's a little sadness. I had my one snake, outside of babies, of course, there's things that happen with babies. My one snake of 2022 decided to die this year. I was cleaning. Everybody had eaten, getting ready for brumation. Opened up my female caramel Miami from JT. Perfect, beautiful adult. Gave me, I think, 12 good eggs last year. She looked healthy as could be, just rolled over dead. No idea why. I froze her. I'm going to see if I can't get a necropsy done on her, but just perfect animal, just dead.
That sucks.
So, it's a heartbreaker. It was actually a couple weeks ago. I mean, we say it so much, 130 snakes, something's going to happen. You're going to lose an animal, right? It's
right.
Just, we cannot control them all. A lot of females that I decided that I'm not going to breed this year. So yeah, Mike, that's actually what we're going to be talking about today is our other colubrid. I'm going to dip into a little bit of my.
I was going to say, we'll dabble. I don't really know exactly what I'm going to do there outside of the corns. I'm kind of going back and forth as to like how many pairings I want to do next year. Not that I produced a ton this year, but I definitely produced a lot. And I'm frankly a bit overwhelmed at the moment in terms of what I got and what I'm taking care of. So I don't know. It's gonna, you get a little crazy, and you get excited, you pair a bunch of stuff, and then you're like, wait a second.
Yeah, it can become overwhelming really quick. Get a couple of bad feeders, get a couple of bad sheds, maybe have a little bit of trouble getting in tiny pinkies, and your year will get a complicated fast. Real life things can get us too. Work, sick family member. We're kind of all at that age where sometimes our parents start not doing as well. Maybe they're in the hospital. These things happen, right? And you got 50 or 60 or 100. I think I was right under 130 this year. Fresh babies. I mean, stuff comes up, and you're going to have to ignore them. And some of these animals you can't ignore for very long. It's just not something that we can do. So something to keep in mind. Play with life, play with death. It's
going to happen.
It is going to happen. It's going to happen.
I had one of the local breeders who I've been talking to, kind of imparting wisdom on me. When I was picking up a snake from him, he was looking at me. We were chatting bullshit for a while. And he's telling me about the business. It's Adrian over at Adrian's Captive Creations. He looked at me, he goes, "You're going to kill a snake. It's going to be your fault, and then you'll do better." And that just stuck with me.
Yeah.
Because I did kill a snake this year. I put, stupidly, flowers wrapped up with a little bit of tape like to put them together and like let them climb on shit.
Mhm.
One of the corners came up and caught one of the baby snakes that I had in there,
Oh,
and she just, I felt so terrible. I was like, I knew that, and that was a rookie mistake, but I just was like, I had a bunch of like little hatchlings I was taking care of, and I was like, you know what? I was like, they need a bunch of stuff to climb on, need to be doing stuff, and I just, it stuck with me. And then those words were just like, it's what I needed to hear, or else I'd be beating myself up.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
inevitable if you're in this hobby
Yeah.
for any extended period of time. Like it's
Yeah.
gonna happen. There's no avoiding it. And
I want to take a little caveat here. The one thing a lot of people say is you're also going to have snakes get out, right?
True.
Justin makes sport of it. It's actually a
hell no,
like
I don't know what you're
you know,
talking about. Never lost a snake in my life.
I've never had a snake get out other than one out of a bag that I had caught, but that's kind of different. It wasn't like in an actual enclosure or anything. My fucking wife called me into the living room the other day, and she was like, Chris, a gecko got in the house. You need to go get it. It's under the dog's bed. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So, we get the Mediterranean geckos. They get in our house all the time. They're
Mhm.
all over the place. There's hundreds of them in my house. And I go lift up the bed, and there's a little Coleonyx brevis chilling, looking up at me, doing its little tail thing. And I was all like, yo, what's up, dog? Like, what are you doing?
Was it like one of yours, or was it one that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because they don't come this far east.
Mhm.
And so I guess I had put them in their breeding setup. So I just paired up all my Coleonyx about 3 weeks ago, and they're in an actual tub now that's in a rack. And it's, definitely not a black box rack.
What are they doing in Iraq?
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so I looked at the tub, and I had to actually move where the tub was in the rack because there's a little gap in the back. And if anybody's seen brevis, they're tiny, tiny, tiny little smart lizards. So yeah, he went back in, and so I've got a little breeding group of them and variegatus and some other stuff cooking. But anyways, yeah. But so I did get a gecko out. That was fun. So anybody that's listening to this, you may want to probably watch the YouTube.
We'll try and paint you a picture as best as we can. So what I have here, add this to the stream and adjust this so that we're taking up more screen here. We're still on the bottom.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
So this is Chris's stuff. So I have no idea what's male and what's female as far as what you have.
Yeah. Okay.
And then there's my stuff. And these are just a bunch of lines for me to put stuff together. It's my little lumber stack. So you have more going on than I do. I didn't realize that I pretty much only have 4 like breeding ready females, because one of the ones that I thought was a female is actually a male. So go figure.
That will do it.
I probed it and I was like, that's going in pretty far. That's
it just
okay.
eats the probe.
Yep. And then there's some stuff that's not going to go this year, but it's stuff that you produced that I got from Jake that I have plans for. And the male in particular, I really want to talk about, because it's the one that I sent you, and you're like, which snake is whose snake is that? Whose baby is that?
Whose baby is that?
Whose white baby is that?
Yeah, that's a
baby.
It's a good looking
in
critter.
the mountains of Caucasus.
I got a buddy, Brian Lovins, over at Lovins Reptiles, and he got a couple snakes from me, and one of the anery tesseras that I produced last year ended up looking like that. It's like the anery tesseras that I kept don't look like that, but a handful of them got that kind of red factor adder, and so man, as those mature, they look amazing. It's about half of them, and I could never tell the difference as babies.
Yeah, so as far as these go, we probably need to like separate them as far as what's what.
People will never be able to tell which pictures are mine.
Yeah.
So
that's a male.
That's a male. I remember that one.
Mr. Gray.
We'll set him over here. This one.
Female. Thing number 2. That's a male.
Caramel Miami's a male.
Miami. That is a female. She is gorgeous.
Is that an ultra male something?
That is an ultramel tessera, het motley, het annery. Oh no, she's not. I'm sorry, she is specifically not het annery. She's posset sunkist. That is an AML motley female. Unknown hets. She has successfully not bred for me ever.
Okay.
But
2023 might be her year.
She's about 5
Pewter?
or 6 years old. Pewter, yeah, it's a female, yeah.
I think it's going to be the opposite for Chris. Like, he's going to have a ton of females and a couple males, and I'm going to have nothing but a sausage fest. And my hole to pole ratio will be severely offset. Is that a ghost?
That's Buffy. She's a ghost paradox. Het AML. She bred for me in 2020. I bred her, I think.
This weird Mexican Bears looking thing.
Yeah, that's a boy. That's a boy I produced in 2020. He's gorgeous. He bred for me last year. That's a stripe annery, extremely high yellow, het ultra, het hypo. Very confusing clutches out of him.
Jesus Christ.
This guy, girl.
That's Mac. That is a ultramel motley stripe, tessera, het annery. Possible red factor because he produces red factor babies.
Male.
He's my all-star. Yeah, he's one of my favorite snakes.
The Crazy Snow.
That's Crazy Snow. That is a female. She is also super high yellow, sibling to my stripe annery boy, het motley stripe.
Fluorescent.
Fluorescent, gorgeous girl. I got her from Kim Ball at Oddball Exotics. She produced a boy for her this year.
Creamsicle.
Yeah, I was about to say. Well, no, that's Emryi. That's a true albino Emryi.
No.
I put 2 of my Emryi projects in there.
Well, wait, I'm missing the other one then.
The stripe male. I sent you a picture of.
When did you send me that?
At the same time I sent you the other 30 pictures.
Annery something?
Annery, het sunkist, het hypo, het AML. Female. Het stripe. She's het stripe.
And
guess who produced that snake?
I'm gonna take a guess.
Female, honey, Miami. I believe 100% het cinder. Definitely mask. She's a hottie.
Okay, so I have no. Let me hide that. There we go. Wait. Okay, now I got it. So mine, just real quick, we'll go over them. Males, the blood red pied, Ladies Island male right here, Castagna Motley right here, Annery Motley, who's in quarantine right now. Interesting little Annery dude from you. Other Ladies Island male. And this is the one that I thought was a female, but pro'd male.
Yeah.
And then we have
some dark saddles on that one.
Absinthe, which is the Annery or Ghost Tessera. Female, blood red pied, original female Ladies Island. And then this is a little Annery Tessera girl that you produced as well.
Yes. Yep.
So a lot going on here. And I told Alex, like, I didn't really want to put in any sort of like down the road pairings just because it's not, not really a sure thing. But I don't know if who wants to, where do we want to kick in?
Well, with all good teams, you're going to start with the quarterback, right? And so usually that's going to be a male. And is there one male you're the most excited about? Who's your all-star this year? Who's the guy that's going to put in some work?
That's a tough one. No.
Yes.
My wife is distracting me from my train of thought. Let's see. So I really want to pursue the Castagna stuff. I don't have any female Castagnas that are sort of age. You know, I have that Mandarin female that Chris sent. But I also like this Henry Motley guy, man. He's pretty slick.
Henry Motley's nice.
It's such a nice, like, that combo in particular. It just looks good.
It's like
it's
that.
So simple, but it's gorgeous.
The Amel Motley that I have, she's just gorgeous, right? Like it's something about a simple gene, either Anery or Amel with Motley. Ultramel Motleys obviously look great too, but Anery Motley is just so damn good. It's just a good combo.
Yeah. Move these over here. I mean, do we want to start with like my stuff just because there's less of it?
Yeah. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Okay. Let me get all these. Okay. So first off, I'm trying these blood reds again.
Oh yeah.
Next year.
They'll go this time.
The female was the one that got egg bound this year and, you know, made it out fine. And she's been doing well. So I think cooling will do her some good.
I think also the stress on the male potentially producing bad sperm.
Yeah. May have helped. So I'm trying to I can't see the chat or what's going on, so you guys have to be my eyes.
For sure. Mike said, damn, that Castagna Motley looks good. And he's right. It's a good looking snake.
It came from him. He didn't produce it, but he's biased. So we'll stick these two together because this is definitely happening. So this is like the one pairing that, like, no matter how many pairings or what pairings I do, like, I'm definitely giving this a shot. And then, so I did. Let's go. Where's Absinthe?
It's a good snake, man.
This picture, she's in shed, so this was taken tonight. I'm trying to make them big enough so that people can see. I don't know if it's like working.
No. Chat, let us know what's up. How we looking on y'all's side?
Yeah. So there's her. There's two routes I figure I can go. One being this Anery Motley boy that I named Belgrade. Which I think would be interesting. I don't know what hets he has. He was one that I stumbled across on Craigslist a couple weeks ago and got him. People originally got him from PetSmart when he was, you know, tiny, because PetSmart doesn't sell anything older than hatchlings, more or less. And it was just a really good looking snake, and I snatched it up, and it's been doing, you know, he's been doing fantastic since I got him. You know, no signs of any issues whatsoever. So he's going to get cooled down. So the two routes I thought about going was putting Walter, the Castagna Motley, with her, and then getting some hets.
But getting a full clutch of Motleys.
Right. Or putting him her with this guy, the new kid. So it's a very tough choice. So I wanted your opinions on that because, like I said, Castagna is something I definitely want to pursue. You know,
yeah.
Westmoreland has a couple little tiny females for sale that at some point, if he still has some, I'm definitely going to grab at least one. Because that's we talked about on the previous episode or two, like, it's just a super underrated morph. And I'm interested to see what it does. You know, the more it gets sort of played with and tied into things. So
the Castagna is female.
Castagna's male.
Okay, both. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
These are males. These are the two males. I'm trying to decide as to what should go with Absinthe.
So what's Absinthe? She's
Ghost Tester.
Ghost Tester.
And definitely not het Amel. I have proven her.
Okay. So what's your overall goal for Castagna? Like, what are you trying to like? What's
right.
your end goal? Like morph.
I don't see that. I don't even know yet. But right now, it's more so just trying to get more of them.
Okay.
Be it hets or visuals, either of my own making or not. Since he's the only Castagna I have currently, besides that little Mandarin female, who won't be ready for probably another 2 years.
Yeah, she was little.
I'd like to have, just for the sake of having more on hand down the line, I'd like to have, they could be hets, I'm not particularly picky on what hets they are, as long as it's not really AML, just because I'm not a big AML guy. So I don't know. Like I said, my main thing was just let's get our hands on some more of those genes to play with later. So more like sort of expanding just on having more of them.
Well, do you think, would you want a ghost Castagna? Like, would that be like, if you got that snake full morph, would that be like, that's awesome?
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be upset about that at all.
Okay.
I love that morph. Like from what I've seen, a lot of the other stuff that Castagna's been tied into, like it all looks good. I don't have any complaints
Also,
there.
The fact that if you take the Castagna Motley and put it to the Tessera Ghost, and she's also not het Motley or Stripe, so I know, I also know that she went to MAC last year, or not last year, two years ago. So one thing that's going to happen is you'll get 50% Tesseras, which is always a good thing. I mean, we've got to sell some of these snakes, and Tesseras sell a lot easier than classics. But you'll also have the ability to make Tesseras, Motley Tesseras, Castagna Tesseras, Castagna Motley Tesseras, Castagna Motleys, Anery, Anery, if you keep a 2.2 back from their clutch, your odds of diversity are huge, right? Because now you've got 2 pattern morphs and 3 color morphs, or what we'll call color morphs. I guess hypo isn't a color morph; it's a D-color morph. So that's kind of cool. I think that's a solid pairing. Also, you can hold back a female that you could take back to the Motley Castagna in the first place, right? So even if you just hold back a classic female, that'll be double het. Motley Castagna, well, quad het actually.
Right.
If you take the Motley Anery, great looking snake, you're going to make 100% Anerys, 50% Anery Tesseras, which is also a damn good looking animal, right? Anery Tesseras are great. But you're only going to walk away with Anerys, Anery Tesseras, het hypo, het Motley. So it kind of tightens that horizon.
Yeah.
And you may stop and go, okay, well, am I really excited about making, your kind of end goal there is going to be an Anery Motley hypo Tessera, which will be, a solid striped snake, which great looking ghost animal.
Yeah.
I produced a couple Anery Motley Tesseras this year, and they were by far some of the favorites from other people that I produced. But you're still 2 years away from making that, or 3 years, actually. Excuse me. So I think that by creating something with more possibilities, you'll get more excited in 3 years from now to pair those animals back up.
Yeah, I think that's the route to go.
I think that generates a lot of possibilities.
Walther. Okay. So let's Ladies Island female. This one I really, so I'm torn as well, because the pairing that I did from these two, oh god, let me pull these down here a little bit. The pairing that I did these guys this year, and I was honestly not expecting anything terribly exciting from them. I'm trying to see if I can blow these up some. So the male is on the right, female is on the left. And these actually, what came out from this pair impressed me more than what I did last year, which was I had a darker male, the darker Ladies Island male with her, which was this guy. It's going to be hard to see because the flash sucks. But that's also a Ladies Island male. And I was expecting a little more than what I got, just because of the contrast. They're kind of on opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of the darkness and lightness and borders and stuff. But these two, man, like there's one baby in particular that went to my dad because he wanted an office pet. And so he got that one. He struggled to get it eating. I think he just had it in too big of an enclosure. And so I swapped it out with another one that was a holdback, and that holdback is really weird looking color wise. Very like really light silver base in comparison to some of the other animals from that clutch.
Okay.
So I'm really anxious to try that again. And then there was a couple from this pairing that had like the neck saddles were like fused.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was interesting and something maybe worth pursuing.
Yeah, they had like a little long blotch thing going on. That was badass.
Yeah.
I dug that critter.
I'm really tempted to do this pairing again, but I'm also tempted once again to tie the Ladies Island thing into something else. So we did. This male actually went to. No, that darker male. This guy went to Absinthe this year.
That was a great clutch.
Produced some really awesome stuff. And so now it's a question of, do I want to do this one again, which I kind of do, but I'm also curious because I have, the pied male. Mm-hmm. I've got this other one that I thought was female that is actually male that I think would go really well. So I don't know. It's tough. I think maybe. It's mostly just they produce nice stuff, but at the same time, I'm curious to see what other things do.
Sure.
So
it's kind of one of the things we're into with this is we want to try different pairings. Like let's see what this, because now you're talking about like naturally beautiful animals that don't have any morphs going on, and it's like, well, let's see what happens this year with this and that this other male you brought up over here on the left.
Yeah, what is it?
So these are all wild caught corns. So these are the two Ladies Island animals. This one is from another part of town that is not insular. It's I won't necessarily say mainland, but it's solid land mass. Got this when it was a tiny baby back in 2018, and it's just blown me away. It's like that is 100% wild caught, like just Carolina corn. Like,
yeah, Mike just said, I love the thick black borders on that left one. I totally agree.
Yeah,
that's a damn fine snake. Maybe try him with her this year.
Yeah, I think
with the female.
I think that would be great.
Yeah, saturate that black a little bit more.
Yeah, and I almost wish that I had a female that had darker borders. I do have some Jasper County animals that are like line bred from Dan Parker that I would eventually like to. Like, it'd be nice to get something that already has sort of those existing dark borders and that those deeper, richer colors, and tie that into it. Some natural corn into the line bred stuff, just to see once again, kind of what happens. So there'll still be Beaufort County corns. They just won't be Ladies Island specific corns.
Yeah. I like that one on the left a lot. I also like that some of his blotches are a little funky.
Yeah.
I like his ground color.
Yeah.
Looks real gold.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had probed it sooner because I was like, man, like I had these two together for, when I thought it was her, I had her with this dark male. And I was like, man, nothing's happening. Like, what's going on? He ain't giving it up. And I'm an idiot. It's two boys hanging out together for a couple weeks. Just
having
some bro time.
A bro fest. A little bro time. You know what I mean? Just hanging out.
Kind of explains a lot now, though. Okay. So we're sidelined. All this stuff is too big. Had to make it big to make it fit. That's what she said.
I was gonna say, Justin, you've never heard that before.
Nope.
My. Okay, so that's the female, right?
Yes.
And she's a little small yet, right? Or is she?
Yeah,
is she
these aren't going to be ready anytime soon. I just had to show off. You blow this up big because these guys, I mean, they're going to be a while. It's not happening anytime soon.
Dude,
God, that's
good
just
This
so
animal,
nice
this is the one that I sent a picture to Chris when I took this picture, which was only like a week or two ago. And he's like, "What the hell is that?" And I'm like, "I don't know. You produced it."
Yeah, and I know exactly what pairings these are from.
Are these siblings?
They are not. Same father, different females.
Okay.
So the Tessera anery is absent to my Ultramel Motley Stripe Tessera het anery boy. And that's how I proved her out as not het any of those things. But that clutch has they're very light aneries, and they're a lot akin to absent, who now she's ghost, but they almost have like a hypo look to them. Obviously they're not, but some aneries are much darker. The boy is from Carrie, my psychopath. She's anery, het sunkiss, het hypo, het amel to Mac. And she produces snakes that look like this. A couple of them every year. She's the one who produced that super yellow ghost, and she's the one who produced the insane yellow stripe boy. And they all have this like first half of their body just crazy yellowing going on. It's not really like a pink.
Well, what was interesting too, because when they were babies, like I saw them when Jake first got them, and it didn't look like anything aside from like a nice anery. Like that yellow didn't just show up from the beginning. You know, it's like really taken over the last couple months.
Yeah, it's a weird thing that happens on her babies. If you would pull up a picture, I say pull up a picture like you're on my phone. If you looked at a picture of that stripe boy when he hatched, I had 1 million people want to buy him because he looked blue. He was like a steel blue color with perfect black stripes. And if you go up and look at him real quick, he's smaller. You can't see his. Hey, and Brian, huge shout out to Brian Lovins in the chat right now. Go check out his page, Lovins Reptiles. Just making fun of me for telling him to buy a pair of Hondurans that were both males. So yeah, you can see the yellow on the ghost or on the snow.
That's Mac.
So she would be a complete sibling to that boy. No, that's the snow female. But she's a complete sibling to that boy. But you see how she's got that crazy yellowing, and it just has gotten more and more and more intense. And then the stripe boy, which will be to your left.
You're talking about that weird patternless looking dude?
Yeah, he's like patternless steel, but his just
right here.
That yellow, right? Like that same thing is happening with him. Yellow nose, yellow all over the head.
Is that similar to the like Tequila Sunrise stuff?
You know, it seems to look similar. The Tequila Sunrise is the Ultramel stuff, or the Ultramel anery stuff that does that. It seems to only be apparent in aneries that she produces, and it really comes in late. I don't know if this has anything to do with the green blotch halo stuff, because I've heard that it could be potentially something there. But it's kind of neat. She kind of just, after a period of time, these snakes just kind of get gold dipped, and I
like him.
Yeah, he's cool. He's a really neat snake. He's got the absolute piss poor shit attitude that his mother has, which I just love. And I'm glad that I'm going to line breed the meanest, pissiest snakes and just call them gold dip demons. But yeah, so there's something going on in there. I think it's more polygenic than it is actual like a recessive genetic or a dominant genetic. It may just be recently just spent a whole bunch of time and money getting into leopard geckos again after 20 years of not having them. And 90% of all the leopard gecko stuff is line bred. It's all polygenic. And I'm like, why don't we focus on more of that in the corn snake world? And then you kind of stop and think, oh yeah, people did. We have a lot of lines. the question is, where is that yellow coming from? Why is it such an intense yellow? Because that's not a typical anery thing.
Right.
And if you look at the mom, she does not do that or look like that. So,
dude, I hope these blood reds make it happen because that pair was like a gift.
Yeah.
From Jeremy Thompson and the Conixis working group and Conixis co-op, and there's a lady. Her last name was Gallus, or is Gallus, and these were like a line that she had been working with by herself, just continually for the last handful of years. So they were like, "We want you to carry it on." And I was like, "I'll do it." And they're just awesome looking snakes.
Yeah, that male is stunning, man. That male has really got it going on.
Okay.
What's up, Brendan? Brendan in the house. Brendan Meyer.
I think. Yeah, because that young pair was sort of the last one, and I don't know if I'll do those together down the line. That male's definitely going to get plugged into some other stuff. Like, so if he's got Sunkissed rocking around in there, like he's definitely going into some Sunkissed.
Dude, look at those saddles. Why does he look like that?
Like that, and then like you make Anery Sunkissed out of that.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit.
Look, go scroll up to the female Anery on my side.
Here. Damn it. This is actually so the problem is like if you keep expanding, the whiteboard just keeps getting bigger and everything else gets smaller. So there's no,
and then
like,
so when you scroll, it like freaks out.
There's no bound workspace. It's all just like a free for all.
Yeah.
Move this over here. Okay. And I'm really surprised my computer's doing so well. I probably just jinxed it. Where did we put her? This one.
Yeah, so that's Carrie. She's the local psychopath. She's the demon that will come out to eat you. She's produced a lot of eggs for me, and that's the mom. And like, she does have some yellow on her. She is very pretty, but she don't look like, you know what I mean? No. She doesn't look like these other snakes.
She's got very, like, her borders are a lot darker, which I wouldn't expect with her offspring right there.
Yeah.
Like, looking at those, I would expect all of them to be almost hypo type.
Yeah. And he's not sun-kissed because she is 100% het sun-kissed. We know she's not, that boy that Justin has is not sun-kissed. He doesn't have the right head pattern. He just doesn't have it. And she's had hypo. He's not hypo because I know that Mac has no hypo in him because I paired him to multiple snakes that have hypo and have never gotten a hypo out of him.
That's really interesting.
That female produced one of the clutches this year that was really fun. She went back to her son, that stripe boy we talked about. He's het ultra. She's het amel. He proved out het hypo. She is het hypo. He did not have the het sun-kissed. That didn't tag along. That's okay. But I produced some of the coolest looking stripes, some of those ultramel anery stripe hypos, which like ghost ultramel stripe. I don't know. There's a lot of genetics.
I have some of those, right?
Yeah, you have some. You have some for that. And now I'm,
those things are wild, man.
I held back a male, and I'm excited to see am I going to get this yellowing? Where is this yellowing going to continue on? Is it going to compound? And we literally won't know for like a while. It takes about at least a year.
You sent me the Ultramel Anery Stripe, which is a female, which I kept. And then you sent me a couple of Ultramel Aneries that were had for some other stuff. I kept the male out of that group, so that's a pair that I held on to.
Okay.
The Stripe because it's awesome, and then the Ultramel, cool. And it's mostly because I'm really curious to see how they develop over time. The Ultramel stuff really has grown on me a lot. The more I see it, intergrade conspiracy theory be damned. Even though I guess it's not really a conspiracy theory, I
think it's pretty well documented.
But documented, it
happened in like the 70s, so it actually didn't happen. You know what I mean? If it happened before I was born, I don't actually believe it.
That's right. How do we know any of this political things over time, like Abraham Lincoln's assassination and stuff? How do we know that was actually real?
I mean, Who would even name their kid Abraham, right? Like, it's not gonna. We don't. I mean, anyways, we don't have to get into it. But yeah, so that's cool, man. That's a cool looking snake. I hope he fares well for everyone and makes some badass babies. And now he is head high. No, he's not head hypo. That's right, he's not head hypo. So we'll see. We'll see what he do.
All right, so these 3 guys are sidelined currently.
Yeah.
For the year. I don't know. They may get tagged in if someone can't get the job done. That's assuming I sexed everything correctly. Because apparently that's been a struggle lately. So I'm gonna go ahead and shrink all this. Actually, go ahead and delete that. Delete that. And I mean, we'll show off the female real quick. She's really nice too.
Oh, she's real pretty. Got a lot of people joining the chat. We got Joe, Rosa, Ball Pythons 9, Nature for You. Eric Westmoreland joined the chat. What's up, Eric? How you doing tonight? Nature for You.
That's Ipers. That's Scott.
Oh, nice. Hey, Scott. How you doing?
Yeah, that's just a good, clean looking.
God,
I remember when Jake got this, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like that pair when I got it, I was like, "Dude, those are freaking sick."
Absinthe and so this is Absinthe to Mac. A lot of those Tesseras had that belly pattern. It's really I find the belly pattern on these really neat because it's like a stripe down the center of their stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of a neat little thing that happened with those because Tessera belly patterns can be a little different. A lot of them can be like that. But yeah, it's a neat thing to kind of consider. There's so many little things happen with these snakes, and as we hold on to them, we start finding little oddities about them that really stand out. Oh, it's JT. What's up, JT? Oh, so yeah, that's exciting. Oh man, I want to see that male. Man, do you think he could breed this year?
I doubt it.
No, he's probably a little small
now.
Now
he needs another year.
Yeah. He's gonna do good things. I may send you a female for him.
I mean, I've got so there's this pair, and then there's the pair I got at Daytona last year that are the Tesseras that are Het Candy Cane and Het Honey.
Mm-hmm.
Those are going together next year. Not this next season, 2024.
Yeah. So now the Candy Cane is albino with Miami influence.
Yes.
So it's AML. Sorry.
So that will be very interesting because that's it's 2 of my favorite things: candy cane and honey. 3 of my favorite things: candy cane, honey, and Tessera.
Yeah,
all rolled into 1. So, all right. Let me zoom out again here. Snag all this stuff. Get it out the way.
Eric said he had a 14-hour day cleaning and preparing for the winter cool down. I feel you, man. These last couple of weeks of cleaning and prepping stuff has been a headache. I texted Justin the other day. I was like, man, I'm just stressed.
What am I doing?
I just need to chat snakes, man. It's egg season for some reason. Breeding season for me isn't stressful. Some of the king snakes try to make it as stressful as possible, but they're just silly. They're silly gooses. And but baby hatching season also not super stressful. But then there's like a midway through, it's getting the babies eating and getting mom's fat back up and getting all their stores going. And so the stress also comes getting ready for brumation prep, man. The cleaning, making sure everybody's cleaned out, making sure everybody's got the right amount of feedings, making sure your females are back up to weight. It's fun. It's a fun, stressful, little delightful time.
All right, batter up. It's Chris.
All right,
KP's turn.
Oh, let's. There's
hold
one.
On a second, I'm missing. Where's that Hannibal dude at? Or is that a female?
I think I got 4 males going this year.
Okay, that's right.
Got 1 male not going, and that's okay. I also, the other thing people got to understand, and we're probably going to have sideline a couple females. I've got 3 or 4 females. One that didn't put weight back on last year. I got a beautiful coral ghost het stripe female I bred last year. Her first time breeding, she gave me 16 eggs, and she just isn't where I want her. So she's not even getting brumated. She's just getting fed heavy through the winter. People got to understand that happens, right? Like you may have this project, you think that you're going to make a bunch of money every year selling these snakes, and that female may just not get back up to size, and you might have to sideline them. Something to just kind of consider.
Just like in pro athletics.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you're not playing ball this year. You know what I'm saying, sweetheart?
They get a blister.
Yeah.
They break a nail.
They've had too many concussions.
CTE, yeah.
So for sure, the male, there's one pair in here that there's no questions what I'm doing, and that's going to be my Caramel Miami male from JT. He's beautiful. I'm going to miss the female he was with for a long time. She was a gorgeous snake. Really bummed that happened, but it's something that happens. And my sun-kissed Hannibal daughter. I think you may have lost her. No, that's not it. Where'd she go? She took off.
I have it here still.
So this boy is Caramel Miami, het diffused, het cinder, het sun-kissed, and this girl is Honey Miami, het cinder, het diffused. Both are masked. I believe she may be super masked, but definitely masked. Those two have a guaranteed date. There's just about nothing I'm more excited about pairing up this year. She's bigger than she looks. I think it took these pictures at different distances from my dumbass hand. And JT just said I should try the Honey Tessera to her. I do have the Honey Tessera Miami from him as well. He's probably the size, but I know that this boy's going to get the job done. So I may try that boy out. But for now, this is the for sure going to happen.
When my Honey Tessera from JT is ready to go, you better believe he's going to be getting some action. That'll be a 2024 happening too.
Yeah. Mine, I think, will be like on the cusp, but definitely 2024. I think we all have a sibling from that clutch.
I think we do.
Yeah.
This female is the snake that I take out when people are not into corn snakes.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I just show them that snake, and I'm like, look at this animal,
Yeah.
and just take it in, because she's every bit that color. She's highlighter yellow. That is a damn fine critter, man.
Well, do you know what the mom was to that one?
I believe she is from Clarice.
Clarice, okay.
Yeah. And she's a 2021. So
And
no,
then what was
2020. She's a 2020.
What's the mom for the caramel?
I know the mom for the caramel was the caramel female that he has.
Okay.
Caramel het sun-kissed. Because I had a pair. The pair was caramels, and they ended up both proving out het diffused, het cinder, het sun-kissed, which was the weirdest clutch in the world.
Beatrix.
Because out of 10 eggs, I had 10 eggs. I had all caramel Miamis, of course. I had one sun-kissed, one diffused, and one cinder, which was so funny. The odds worked out that way.
we are still here. I'm moving us out of the way so you can see better.
Yeah. I'm never leaving. I'm actually here for the rest of my life. So yeah, that's one pairing that I'm just super jazzed about. I cannot express enough what these animals look like in real life, in your hands. That whole clutch ate great. I lost one baby in the out of the egg. The honey that I did hatch out this year didn't make it. Didn't even make it out of the egg. But this year I hope to make some honeys.
Eric, we were just talking earlier too about those female castañas you got on Morph Market right now that I asked you about a while back. That's gonna have to happen before the end of the year.
Yeah, if anybody listening in is looking for some snakes still, Eric's got some awesome stuff still available, and man, he's got some pewter stuff that I just tantalized with.
There was a point where me and Chris were looking at all the stuff he had available, and we were like, man, we should just talk to him about getting just a giant group.
But can I just get the rest of these? Okay, so that pairing is happening. I know it's happening. But let's move to. I got some ideas.
Well, hold on a second.
What's up?
Alex and I were talking before we started recording earlier about those caramel Miamis and how that seems like with those in particular, if you continue to sort of breed those into each other, it only gets better with every generation. Like it almost seems like it just compounds on itself.
Yeah.
Because the ones that I got from you that are from that pairing are just unbelievable, and they're still small.
Yeah.
So it's like if I put those together, like holy shit,
Again, that kind of dips into that selective breeding within morphs that we're talking about. They just get better and better and better and better.
Because he sent me them as hatchlings. I was like, yeah, these are nice. And then they had that first shed with me, and I was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Like all of a sudden, that gold and the saddles and everything just exploded.
Every couple sheds is just insane.
It's wild.
The caramel diffuse from that clutch this year,
Ooh.
he is gangster. I haven't even taken a good picture of him recently. He is going to be a delight to have in my collection. I'm excited about him.
I'm excited to see what the yellow, the offspring that these two will produce.
Yeah.
She's so highlighter, and he's so golden. So, like, is it just going to be in between? Is it going to be one extreme or the other? It's
good. Right? Like that's that clutch that I'm just like super excited about.
Yeah. Caramel is Hannibal to Beatrix, and the honey should be so both parents are Hannibal.
Yeah. Excellent. So they both have the diffuse, the sender.
Yep.
And the mask.
Such a good snake.
Yeah, Hannibal's great.
Oh my god. Do you see the post that JT put recently of Hannibal?
Yeah. Just looking awesome. Just as majestic as can be. It's great looking critter.
Like JT's the reason though that I've started to want to sort of bring like the chondro mentality of lineage and flagship animals over to Corns, and trying to make that, take off a little more, because like you have animals that are so unique, like this female and like Hannibal, where it's like we can do this with some of those just really stand out animals and just build upon that more.
Well, what I love about it is I love hearing stories about where people are like, this is the line that I've been breeding, for generations. And they're like, I just knew when I had the original pair, and then just kept compounding and compounding. And then there's always that story where it's just like, oh, I didn't know what I had until it grew up.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, oh, I saw somebody I sold it to posted a picture, and it's just like, whoa, like, why does that look so different from everything else? And then it's like, I need to get back into that. I should really be focusing on that. I just find that so interesting.
Yeah, I totally agree. Let's grab the next mail.
Who's that going to be?
Let's grab Mr. Gray. And I'll kind of let out some secrets about him. Mr. Gray is my charcoal tessera het diffused. And he has whatever old school genetics are in him to make blood reds look blood red. His babies come out dark. In fact, I even held back a just classic female this year because she was so damn just good looking. JT says he has pictures of Hannibal's parents if we ever need them. Yes, we need those. We have to. We just need those anyways, just regardless. It's for
JT text that to me.
Yeah, I'm all for science. We need that. We need that for science.
I need that now.
So we know there's one pairing that I'm going to repeat this year with this boy, and that's going to be my female thing number 2. Thing number 1 actually belongs to Kim Ball at Oddball Exotics now, but I had thing 1 and thing 2. They were my diffused. So on the furthest left female actually, that's my little blood red pied girl. She's great. She's got a great temperament. But she has that perfect old school blood red, just exactly what you want it to look like. She's got that iridescence to her, and she's had charcoal. So it took me 3 years, but I produced pewters, and I produced tessera pewters this year. I think, Justin, I sent you a pewter, right? I
have a pewter, and I freaking love it.
Yeah. So that pairing right there has consistently produced things that I love. She doesn't lay a lot of eggs. It's been 8 to 9 every year, but she's a big female. She doesn't really have big clutches, and her eggs look kind of weird. So I supplemented her with a little bit of calcium this year. before brumation, see how that does. Her eggs are healthy. They hatch. Her eggs also hatch in less days than all my other corn snakes.
Oh, wow.
Which is just a thing about her.
Did she produce that blood red tessera I have from you?
Yes, yeah. So she also produced the blood red tessera I held back 2
that thing's
years
incredible
ago.
too. Like that thing keeps blowing my mind with every shed as well. Like you made it so hard because you sent me so much stuff, and there was things that I know we definitely planned to hold on to, and there was stuff that we're like sell it, keep it, whatever. But now I'm at a point where it's like I have a lot of stuff and I need to let some go, but it's like I can't possibly choose what to get rid of because especially stuff like that charcoal tessera you sent me, that pewter, that blood red tessera. It's like I can't possibly let these go because I would like to take that blood red tessera and tie it into the blood red pieds.
Yeah.
If I get anything from those down the line. It's just like, oh my God, it's all just so nice. It's so hard to choose what needs to stay.
This pair produced a female charcoal tessera a couple years ago that I held on to, and she's working on getting up to size, and she is identical to Dad. Like Mark, I have a picture of when she hatched, and him and her on the same board, and they're literally their markings are identical. So that's something that's special about them. And she, I mean, hell, even if I don't braid her back to him, I don't even care. It's just cool to have a pair of snakes that are like identical. Charcoal tessera is a great morph. I love the kind of super muted just grays, different, 50 shades of gray. His name's Mr. Gray.
You don't get like that browning you get with ghosts and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's
some
neat,
of the other
man.
Stuff.
There's a lot going on in charcoal that I like, and one of the things I like about charcoal is just a charcoal. Not that I don't like an anery. I love aneries. Obviously, these weird yellow aneries I'm producing, I'm really excited about. But charcoal is just a damn good base morph. The next snake you could definitely add on this list is my pewter, the pewter female. She did not breed last year. I only paired them up once, and it was a little late. I did brumate her last year. She was a little smaller. I paired them up, and then after having a whole bunch of locks, I was like, you know what? We will. We'll wait.
Love that snake.
Yeah.
I can't put my finger on what it is with the pewter stuff, dude. That just really
good.
rustles my jimmies, but
it's good.
I love it.
Yeah, pewters. That's why I was so excited to produce 3 this year. I'm going to keep a pewter tessera, and then I'm going to. You have one of the pewters, and then I'm going to be sending a pewter to my friend Kim. It's just Joe Rosa just said pewter is the best. Pewter really is the best. I also love that it has like a hypo factor to it. Like this snake doesn't have any hypo in it. It's not a ghost, right? Or not? Excuse me, I guess hypo charcoal. Just pewters just do that. And there's almost like a pink factor in the saddles, but it's not. It's almost like it plays a trick on your eyes. Almost looks like a cinder a little bit. So yeah, pewter, great. I want to make more pewters. I want the world to have more pewters, and I'll have pewter tesseras. And there's also, there's also other genes that may be mixed up in here.
So what is she going to?
She'll be going to Mr. Gray for sure.
Okay, that same male.
So gotcha. Yeah, so that clutch will be charcoals, tessera charcoals, pewters, tessera pewters. As far as I know, they both may have some other things in them that I haven't figured out yet, and we're not going to be able to figure that out without test breeding. And that's also going to be one of the other females I'm going to throw in here. I may talk to you guys and see what y'all think about this. But yeah, make more pewters. The world needs more pewters. I'm okay with that. Okay, so I have only ever bred Mr. Gray to thing number 2. So I've only done charcoal tessera, het diffuse to diffuse het charcoal, right? That's been the only pairing I've done with those 2-3 years running. I haven't bred them to anything else. What I'm thinking, if you scroll up, I'm going to grab this female. I'm going to grab this female because I don't really know what to do with her. But the fluorescent. Grab the fluorescent. Bring her down there. So I don't think this fluorescent has any other genes in her. I believe that she is old school, extreme reverse Okatee, line bred to have that beautiful contrast. And she really is that color, if not brighter, which is kind of special. But I have a few males. Obviously, I have 4 males ready for her to go to. But one of the ideas I have, and this is, like I said, we'll kind of just dip it around a little bit. One of the ideas I have is taking her to Mr. Gray. So if I take her to Mr. Gray,
Ooh.
I'll get probably all normals. The big thing is I don't know if he has any unknown heads in him, and I don't know if she has any unknown heads in him.
Right.
I see Brian just said she looks even better in person. That snake is wild. That snake is insane looking. Now I have
And is
a male.
that like a dedicated like fluorescent line?
Yeah. So it's a line bred, and I'm remiss to say who it was that actually started that line, but it was just pure line bred reverse Okities. Low red. The reds that are on there are just neon. That orange is perfect. The whites are just saturated, clean white. But she can do a lot of things. She can go to all 4 males, and I think I'd produce things I'd be excited about. The thing that I was thinking is because Mr. Gray has produced some very good-looking classics, very deep, dark classics. I wonder if I pair her to him, I'll get Tesseras and classics. That is if I don't have any other genes floating around in either one of these animals,
Right.
which is very possible, especially AML on the charcoal. So what I'll produce will be hopefully some very good-looking animals, and if I hold back the best and breed them together, I'll have animals that are het charcoal, het AML. What you get there is possibly some very Okidi-looking charcoals, some very reverse Okidi-looking AMLs, and then obviously Tessera is going to be mixed in there because it's just mixed in. But I'll get some charcoal AMLs, which are blizzards, which are kind of neat. They usually end up pretty white, but I think with a snake that looks like this breeding into them, I will get a very, very, very base white snake, which not that exciting, but it's something neat to have for the contrast in a collection. So I don't know. So that's an option for her. At the same time, she can go to my caramel Miami. So I'll maybe be able to produce a little bit of that Miami Okidi look, which is a great looking animal between the two of them. But I'll also be het butter. So I can make some Miami Okidi het butters. So that's an option going with the caramel from JT. So I don't know. What do y'all think about those pairings?
Well, I like the idea of putting the caramel to the fluorescent because if you're taking that compounding, like het caramel can do some interesting things. It can brighten up yellows like naturally in a corn snake.
Yeah.
So I think putting that towards that fluorescent line, which already kind of like reduces down those reds to that this bright orange, I think would be pretty cool, especially when you get to that end goal and get that like extreme reverse like butter.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a sweet pairing to do. Now, the pewter would also be awesome.
Yeah,
but I would
Tessera charcoal. Yeah,
I would hate for you to miss out on the het diffused and not be able to make your pewters with the extreme.
Right. There's something to that. Now, next year I have more males for her to go to. I have a reverse Ogidi, very high saturated red Tessera that I'd like to pair her to.
Ooh.
There's another thing we could do with her, and so we'll put that idea on hold because
we gotta go to pee. I'm sorry.
Oh,
you're good,
Daddy. So yeah, what Alex was just saying was that she could be here with Mr. Gray, and we can make some really cool looking animals. We can we'll have classics, we'll have Tesseras, hopefully saturating that black because that's what that white does, it turns black. But not really sure what that color palette's going to do. But also pairing her to the caramel Miami.
Oh yeah.
Gets me some. Maybe I'll be able to pop out some good, decent looking Miami Okidis. We'll kind of have to raise. That's a clutch that I'd have to wait a couple sheds on, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't just throw those out.
You hold those back for a little bit.
Yeah. Also, we'll get a little bit of the mask factor going on because we know that there's masks hanging around. Possible het cinders. So if we have het cinders in there, we know that we're going to get a lighter base color because het cinder can be a bit visual. And now we've got het butters, right? And who on the planet doesn't want butters that look like that, right? Throw caramel into her and keep line breeding that group. And what do you do? It's all awesome.
Here's the problem. There's just so many things, so many directions you can go in, and none of them are horrible
Yeah.
in any capacity.
Well, every single male I have can go to her. So let's go to the next male. Let's go to Mac, Macosaurus Rex, the Mac Attack, Big
What's
Mac.
that? Patternless dude?
No, my orange guy.
This guy.
Yeah, Mac. I love Mac. Mac is massive. I have fed Mac a lot. Mac is one of the corn snakes I've had the longest. He isn't shed in this picture because I'm an actual useless human. But he's massive. He's 4.5 foot long. He has he's the only snake I have that's a corn snake that gets to live in a V70 because he's just king of the room.
Is
Mac
he the sire to Flash Gordon?
Yes. Yeah. He's the dad.
Figured.
So he's got some killer yellows also. So he is Ultramel, Het Anery, visual Motley, but he's Het Stripe. So he's got one Motley gene, one Stripe gene. So that's awesome. And then he's Tessera. He's produced a lot. He's produced a lot of baby corn snakes. There's a couple hundred baby corn snakes from him out in the world right now.
Dude, that one I have of his is just so clean. It almost looks fake.
Oh, you have the Motley Tessera Classic, right?
He's not a classic.
He may be Ultramel.
It is Ultramel.
Okay. You also have the Ultramel Stripe that came from him.
Yes.
Yeah, she's cool.
Yeah. So that would be a cool pairing down the road, and pairing Flash Gordon to that.
Yeah. So right off the bat, I could take that fluorescent female and pair her to him, right?
Yeah.
So if I did that, now I'm going to be getting that Okidi influence into AMLs and Ultramels and Tesseras, right?
Yeah.
So just right off the bat, that pairing can be great. And I'll also find out if she has any Het Anery in her. Also Het Motley or Het Stripe, right? He's got a whopper of hets in there. So, when I bought that snake, I thought he was just a stripe. I bought him as a stripe. That's what I thought he was. Anyways, we have learned things from 6 years ago, 7 years ago. God, I don't know how long I've had. He's great. He's great. He's gonna live forever. Okay, scroll up to the females. There is one female who 2 years in a row has not bred for me. I've probed her enough to where
little Motley girl.
That girl right there, my AML Motley. She's in shed in this picture also because that's what snakes do when you need to take pictures of them.
Yeah, all of mine were in shed too. I was like, son of a
bitch. This is a pairing that has to happen, right? Like, I've got a Motley Tester Ultramel. I've got an AML Motley. I want to know what hets she has. She's beautiful and amazing and huge. He's beautiful, amazing, and huge. Both of them have perfect attitudes. I love her Motley look. Motley comes in a lot of variations. Hers is
hers is super clean. Just like single spots.
Yeah, she's just great. When she sheds, she is every bit as vibrant as him. Well, obviously when he sheds, such crappy pictures. I hope this works out. I'm going to try again this year. I know she's female. I know he gets excited when he's around her. I'm hoping that happens.
Sounds like you do too.
Yeah, dude. I want a whole clutch of Motley, AML, Ultramel, Tessera goodness. I hope that she's not Het Anery. I just hope she's not because I want a whole clutch of just bright orange red beauties. So that pairing, I think that pairing just has to happen. I thought for a while, there's a couple things I could pair her with. I could dip her into the Stripe Boy because he's Het Ultra. So I would get Ultramel Motleys. And I could also get a little deeper because he's Het Hypo, see if she's Het Hypo, which is a definite possibility, being I don't really know her lineage too well. And I do like the idea of test breedings. But no, I think I've got to try her with Mac again. So yeah, I don't think I need to place her anywhere else. She could also go to the Caramel Boy and make
that would be interesting.
Het Butter Motleys. You know what I mean? There's ain't nothing wrong with a Het Butter Motley. Butter Motleys is again a damn fine snake. We'd also be able to prove her out for a Het Caramel, Het Diffuse, Het Sunkissed. You know, a lot of genes in that boy up there. What do y'all think? Sticker with Mac?
I like the like pairing right there because I think that'll net you the most like exactly what you're looking for.
Mhm.
I agree. Also, I may be able to produce an albino motley tessera, which of all of the combinations I could have produced over the last 3 years is one I have not produced. So that'll be exciting. Yeah, let's stick that. Let's scroll. Let's go look at those women's again. Okay, I think this is going to be a perfect example. Let's just talk about this girl right here. This is an Ultramel tessera. Het Motley stripe, either Het Motley or Het stripe. She's gorgeous. She has just about the perfect coloration. I didn't breed her last year. She's a little on the smaller side. She was a little on the smaller side last year. She's one of the first snakes I ever hatched.
Oh,
In
wow.
fact, I think she is the first snake I ever hatched. I have to go back to my pictures, but I'm pretty sure she is the first snake I ever hatched. So last year I could have bred her. I didn't because I didn't feel like I had a good pairing for her. And I will kind of get into that now. I don't think I have a good pairing for her this year. When you take an Ultramel and put it to anything that's not an AML, you have 50-50 chances on your babies to whether they're Ultra or AML. They're one or the other.
Mhm.
But I don't. I have an AML tessera boy that I produced that is going to go to her at some point. He's got the exact same heads. He was from the exact same pairing, actually. This super high red, beautiful. Obviously, you see that yellow happening again coming from Mac. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to breed her this year. Also, like I'm totally okay. I've got a couple other females I'm not going to breed. I'm okay not breeding her again, right? Like I don't need to breed her. And I think she's a snake that would produce a lot of question marks potentially.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of put a pin in her for now. But gorgeous snake. She is one of my favorites. Obviously, a baby of Mac. She went to a real high. She came from a real high red AML female that I enjoy. Let's grab the snow. Let's grab the snow. It's gonna be her first year.
Informer.
So this snow is Mac's daughter. I produced her a few years ago. She was a terrible eater, and she figured it out.
Just like the one I have from you now.
I produce a couple every year that just don't want to eat. She sucked at eating. She figured it out, so she will be actually 4 this year, this coming year. But she's every bit the size to breed. She has that insane yellow. The question on her would be: I know she's Het Motley. She was in a clutch with a Snow Motley actually. She is hypo pos het Sunkissed. She's a lot more pink in person. A little bit of that pink you see between her eyes is kind of saturated throughout the body. Pinks don't photograph well, and I don't really like editing my pictures.
Looks like a damn albino king.
It kind of does. It kind of does. But that yellow going down her neck, halfway through her body, maybe a third through her body, it's just perfect. It's perfect. She's kind of got that halo thing going on, right? You see the yellow in the saddles.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if that means she is Halo. That would be a question for Mrs. Moore, Mrs. Straley, actually. Excuse me. But she's great. She is one of my daughter's favorites. Snows are just great. Every time you produce a snow, life is good. But she can go to Mac and will produce AMLs, Ultramels, Snows, Snowtramels, Motleys, and Tesserats, because she is Het Motley or Stripe, right? She's one of the two. I like that pairing because I'll produce Snows. At any time I'm producing Snows, I'm happy. Anytime I'm producing Snowtramels, I'm happy. And I'll also get some classics. So I think that's an option. He's Het Anery. He produced her. So that's a possibility. I don't want to put her to the charcoal boy or the caramel boy, just because I have too much stuff lining up on this other side. And I guess while we're talking about this, let's grab that stripe male and kind of bring him down here because that would be the other option for him.
Is that really yellow stripe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if we grab the stripe boy,
damn it.
So what happens with this pairing is I get a whole clutch of aneries that have both the mom and the dad have that crazy yellow.
Yeah.
If she's het motley, I'll get motleys. If she's het stripe, I'll get stripes because it's one or the other, being that Mac is both motley and stripe. I'm going to get a whole bunch of psychedelic yellows. But one thing that's not going to happen is I'm not going to produce any snows. I'm going to produce snow tremels because he is het ultra. He's for sure 100%, no questions asked, het ultra. But that might play into that whole tequila sunrise kind of look, whereas it's an ultra male anery that has that endless yellow. So
I think I'd like to see that pairing.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I think I'd be a little more interested to see that as well.
Also,
I would love to see how much yellow their anery, especially the ultramel, would produce.
Mm-hmm. So I might be able to produce some ultramel stripe, ultramel anery, possibly ultramel motleys. There's no tester in this, which is not a bad thing. Yeah. And she may carry over the het hypo because he's het hypo. She may be het hypo.
Mm-hmm.
So we may even be able to dab that in there too. Again, that's one of those things. I don't know if I need to pair her back to Mac to just get endless possibilities. Whereas when I pair her to the stripe boy, who needs a name, he needs a name. I get a lot more refined possibilities, right? Like we know we're getting all aneries. We know we're going to get some percentage of ultramel aneries. We're going to get some percentage of either motleys or stripes. But we know they both kind of carry this yellow factor thing, which may be like red coat, right? Or something similar, acting like red coat. Again, I'm not the genetics master when it comes to more polygenic type things. But I think that's a cool pairing. I think that'd be fun. I don't know. That's a tough one, right?
That is tough because Mac is the father to her.
Yes, yeah. He's the father to both of these, yeah.
I think I'm still more interested in the anery stripe to see. But I think if you don't super love the pairing this year, putting her back to Mac next year.
Yeah, and that's definitely a possibility. It's these are both direct lineage, exact same pairing, just same as the male that Justin has now, that Jake had, exact same pairing. So we know that there's a yellow thing going on, right? There's a yellow factor to this. What exactly that is, I don't know. But if both of them are expressing it, because they definitely are. I've seen anery stripes. I spent a lot of time looking at anery stripes. That's a lot more yellow than a normal anery stripe, in my opinion. So I don't know. That's a tough one. Yeah, it's we're looking at these pictures, and as I'm looking, it's a little bit easier to look at them like this too, where I'm like actually sitting here. Going through the room is one thing, but actually looking at them on the screen, it's like, oh, okay.
Trying to organize a little bit and make it
yeah. I think I think that's a cool pairing. But I think if I'm going to do that pairing right there, then I'm going to go grab Carrie, my little psychopath,
and
I'm going to put her back to Mac. And the reason for that is that's the same pairing that produced both those animals. Now, last year I bred him to his mom, which is the anery on the right side. That one right there, yeah. So that pairing this year produced some awesome stuff, but I'm going to be producing a lot more of that same stuff this year. Whereas that female to Mac actually produces the largest variability. She's laid 14 eggs 3 years in a row. She's never even looked like she's laid an egg, ever, which is hilarious. But her back to Mac has so many possibilities because she's het stripe, which means I'll get motleys and stripes. She's het hypo, which I won't see anything visual. She's het amel, so I'll get snows, amels. I'll get classics. I'll get tesseras. I'll get motley tesseras. There's a lot. It's kind of endless with those two. So I think I may repeat that pairing. I mean, just got to have that one clutch. 2 years in a row in 14 eggs, I had 14 different visual combinations.
You're saying Mac to her?
Yeah, it'd be Mac back to her. So Mac bred to her for 2 years. Last year I bred her to her son. This year I'm thinking about putting her back to Mac just to have that huge variability. And then instead of pairing the son back to her, I'll pair the son to the snow. So he needs a name, that little stripe boy. So yeah, I'm going to do that. Something like that. I think that's a good pairing.
Yeah.
They've consistently, year after year, made badass stuff. Obviously, these two snakes above them are directly from that pair. The male you have is from that pair. You may even have other snakes from that pairing. There's something going on between those two that makes awesome yellow stuff. So I'm hoping that pairing the yellow stuff to the yellow stuff makes more awesome yellow stuff. Definitely going to be, again, holding a lot of stuff back from that, like I always do, because I've still got a ridiculous ton of holdbacks, because that's what we do. We hoard things. And then we get stressed out halfway through Christmas because we have to buy Christmas gifts and we try to cry. Let's just zoom in on this girl over here. This is Buffy. Buffy produced her. I didn't breed her this year, and there's a little bit of me that says I may not breed her again this year. This snake was actually produced by Joe Phelan many years ago. She's got a cool paradox patch on her neck. It's like red. It's like the classics coming through.
Let me see if I can.
Right there, yeah. It's pretty cool. I call her Buffy because it looks like she got bit by a vampire. And the tip of her tail has red on it also.
Yeah, I saw that. That's
kind
crazy.
of try to get a picture of both. And if there's actually a couple scales throughout her body that have a little bit of the red. It's super neat snake. She's het amel. She has produced some good looking stuff. Obviously, she's a ghost, stock standard ghost with the paradox thing going on. Ken Deal, who's become a good buddy of mine, has a pair of snows that produce paradoxes occasionally. I think 2 years in a row they've produced at least one paradox. So he is raising a male that we're actually going to pair to her, I believe, next year. So I may not breed her this year just because I don't want anything to happen, and I want to pair her to that snow paradox. Not saying that we're going to get paradoxes, because that's not how that happens. But if you're going to produce a paradox, it will probably be from a paradox to a paradox. And I think that's pretty neat. I think the chance of being able to produce that is worth holding her out another year. Also, where exactly would I put her? I could produce ghosts, het stripe from the one boy. He's ultra, she's AML. So that's one thing. I want to keep Carrie, my anery, with Mac this year so I can produce snows. Just because I want to be able to produce snows this year. JT said we could name that boy King Midas. That'd be kind of cool.
Gold member.
Pony boy.
Goldfinger. So yeah, there's I think that's my corn snake pairings this year. I also don't want to overwhelm myself, and that's a decent amount. I think you guys are right. Maybe taking that fluorescent female and putting her with the caramel boy will be kind of neat. I think that's a fun idea. Make some het butters, definite het butters that will have an interesting look. And like we said, the world loves butters. so I could keep a pair back from that and send a few out into the world. I don't know. It's tough to not want to pair to that charcoal just to double check het, see if he's het AML, because I like that test breeding idea. I don't know. Y'all think that 3 females for a male is overwhelming?
No. I don't think so.
Yeah. Then, you know, that ultra male female I have, the ultra male tester that's up there,
Mm-hmm.
she's either het motley or het stripe. She's pos het anery. We could think about sending her to you to pair to that anery motley boy. Just to see what happens. Find out if he's het AML, which he is. So you can make some AMLs, some ultramels, possibly some, well, for sure, some either motleys or stripes, half a clutch of tesseras, and potentially mix anery in there. Have a fun clutch. He's that is the one you're playing with now is the albino emery. Yeah, I sent you pictures of the stripe emery just because I wanted to have
I don't have those.
I'm gonna send it to you. Oh, it's because I didn't send it to you this show. I sent it to you last show. Gotcha.
You're talking about the wild caught.
No, the Nueces County reverse stripe emery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me upload it.
Yeah, the only concern with that ultramel tessera going to you is she is my baby, and I love her. And I love that snake. I really love that snake. I didn't even breed her last year because I was like, if it's not a perfect pairing, I don't. So it's kind of I'm emotionally attached to some of these things, like a dingleberry. Oh, JT said dual sire the clutch for the reverse Okadi. We could. Huh. Double clutch it? I don't double clutch JT. I'm gonna feed these things mice. It costs money. I'm allergic to that shit.
I thought you were allergic to everything.
He is allergic to everything.
First off, guys, right. I'm gonna formally ask y'all to watch your attitude. Okay?
All right, let me exit this.
Oh, now we just deleted all of it. That's fun.
We
Thanks for
didn't
being
delete
1 in 1
all of
million.
it. It's still here. I uploaded it on my phone, so now I have to reopen it. And
sad times, guys. This is actually making for undoubtedly one of the best episodes that people will listen to as just a podcast.
I like it.
But yeah, no, this is awesome.
Load. Great, Chris. Your thorn scrub is broken.
The curse of the thorn scrub.
If you guys aren't using Canva, shout out to Canva because I freaking love this program. There we go.
So this is a Nueces County reverse stripe. Now I do have a pair of these, and I'll be pairing them this year. But the goal. Sorry, guys, I'm gassing tonight, so I'm having to mute randomly. We could lie to everybody. This pairing will produce aberrant, potentially even reverse stripes that are het AML. And the world has never seen these two things put together. And so I am excited to do that. Not to be a world first, because I don't think a polygenic to a visual recessive trait is a world first, but it will be very neat to line breed these animals, get the best looking babies, pair them back together, and produce some AMLs with that look. Because an AML embryi is a shockingly beautiful animal. That snake in person is drop dead gorgeous. Almost has a green hue to it in it. The amel and emery eye is not compatible with the amel and corn snakes, which is kind of neat. So these are both pure emery eye. Obviously, we have mealmorum and emery eye going on here. We're gonna dip past the trinomials for a little bit, and kind of get over it in the hobby, because it didn't matter until 2020. But that look is in my opinion gonna make Billy Hunt just fully erect. You know what I mean? That's a Billy Hunt pairing if I've ever seen one. So excited to produce reverse stripe mealmorums regardless. So I'll have a clutch of those. But putting those two animals together, getting hats, very 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 excited. Been one of the projects, raised these things for babies, and just super excited to get there. Raising a lot. Every animal in this whole group, with the exception of Mac, I raised from an absolute hatchling. That's also a lie because thing number 2 came to me as an adult. But yeah, so it's exciting. I still suggest everybody starts with babies. I think it's the best way to do it. But yeah, what do y'all throw? I've been talking a lot. I gotta wet my whistle. These beers aren't even getting drank over here. I'm barely on number 3. What do y'all
barely
talk
on
about?
number 3.
Barely on number 3. Y'all talk about these pairings. Y'all think anything y'all would switch up? Anything y'all think y'all would be excited about?
Not the mealmorum.
not the mealy boys.
I still got 2 babies that need homes.
They have a home, Justin. It's in your heart.
Yeah, I mean, they all look really solid.
Jeremy.
I think this, this first one with the Caramel Miami to that girl is definitely a banger.
It's a good clutch, right? Like we're just stock standard excited about that.
And then if you end up making this group go, I think that's going to be a really cool. If you can get him to, if you end up doing all 3 females, I think the results from that will be really interesting.
I think there's a good chance, like Alex was saying, of taking that reverse Okudi female and the fluorescent female and putting her with the Caramel Miami. Just to be able to, Miami OKTs are great. The whole world loves them. And then also making double head butters, right? But like I said, I'm really vibing on finding out if Mr. Gray is head AML, and this was my year to find out, because next year the reverse Okudi will be going to a Tessera AML boy, and then hopefully a year after that, like Mike just said, just produce more fluorescents. I have the best looking male fluorescent I have ever seen coming from Kimball. Oddball Exotics, can't shout her out enough. He has like almost no red on him. He is going to be a white and orange snake. He is beautiful. She's going to be sent into him probably when the weather clears up a little bit. We got a little cold front coming in next week, so that's years down the line though. He's 22, so
these 2 girls are your free agents.
They're free agents, man. Buffy, I don't really, like I said, she can breed. She's bred for me before a couple times. She bred for Joe. She's a good snake. She's huge. I bet she'd produce a whole shapoopy load of eggs. But I'm also kind of at that point with just these pairings we're seeing here. How many pairings is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just what we're seeing on the screen right now, that's 8 pairings. That's potential for 80 to 90 babies minimum, right? Somewhere in there. Plus I've got 3 clutches of Alterna, 4 clutches of Leonis, Northern Pines, Jedi, Chinese Beauties, Baja Kings, probably something else. I don't think I'm breeding gophers this year. If anybody wants gophers, I'm not going to breed my gopher snakes this year unless somebody wants them, the whole clutch. I'm going to give the female the year off. I think giving females the year off is just the way to go. Sometimes. But if somebody's like, I want the whole clutch of gophers, message me. I'm not breeding black pines again this year, just because
they're horrible.
No, because they're the best. But the logistics of moving them out of my house, and also I am totally okay with a snake that took 4 years to breed, having the females a year off. I think that's That's okay. My Northern Pines, the female literally looked like she didn't lay eggs, so I'm going to breed them again. The Janai, my female literally never looks like she lays eggs anyways, and she's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I probably feed my Janai a little more than I should, but y'all can come over and tell me to stop. Guns are loaded. Yeah, so this already sounds overwhelming. I can't wait for the stress. Sounds like 200 babies. But yeah, not using that ultra male test. There's also I have that Coral Ghost female. She just didn't bounce back well. She's getting a year off.
Mm-hmm.
If she doesn't continue to get better, she'll never breed again. As far as just getting that weight back on, and that's okay. She will look real pretty in the collection. I've also got an AML female, real high red. She's gorgeous. She's not breeding this year. She didn't breed last year either. Not to sound disrespectful to her, because she'll be going back to one of her sons not next season, but the season after. But I don't feel like producing a bunch of AMLs and classics this year. Not that I've ever had an issue getting rid of them, but we have to make some cuts here and there. We could take Buffy and put her to that Motley anery and see if he's had AML, and just make some AMLs and aneries and snows possibly. We could also take her and put her to a Wildcat. We could put her to a Blood Red Diffused. We could put her to a Castagna Motley. We could put the Castagna Motley to the Tessera Ultramel Het Motley.
Oh, there's what that other picture was. I'm trying to once again organize here. Struggling. Billy
91, you're right. He just said this is going to be a tough podcast to listen to. I'm going to need these pictures. You're right. This is going to be more of a visual, definitely a visual episode than it is a listening episode. That's okay. I hope the sweet, somber sounds of my voice still fill you with joy. Make your heart content.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do as far as other non-corn related things. Baird's wise, I want to try that wild-caught male that you sent. There was, so at the Columbia show, the Hibernaculum was selling, or the guys at the Hibernaculum were selling a Davis County animal.
Okay.
And I don't know if it was a male or female. I really wasn't trying to come home with anything, but thanks to Jason Keller, I came home with a damn albino king. that I don't want
so awesome.
at all, but I have it. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to do Loma Altas again. I still have some babies from those available. Everyone talked about how much they wanted Loma Altas, and then when I posted them, and I guess people saw the price, they said never mind. So may not do those again. I don't know.
It's a tough one, right? It's like they're worth a specific amount of money. They're rare in the hobby. There's not a lot of Loma Alta stuff floating around there. I think personally, I like it a little bit more than the Mexican stuff. Mexican stuff seems to kind of be flooding the market right now, but also demanding a high price. So I don't know. I
don't think my Loma Altas were really priced outrageously or anything like they were.
What'd you have, Matt? If you don't mind talking about it.
They're $250 shipped.
I think that's a shockingly good price.
I pretty much include shipping in all the prices that I post. So
yeah, I think $250 ships great because shipping's probably going to be $65. You're talking about walking away paying $185 for a snake that is a damn fine animal.
My Morph Market account expired as of yesterday, so that's why you didn't see them. I got to re-up it so they show back up.
It's tough. We talk about producing. We've got a couple pairs here that are going to produce a handful of classics and just classic testers. Classic testers still fly off the table for $100 all day long. Classics are a tough sell. It's kind of one of those things you do well within your own collection, and then end up potentially giving them away at shows or finding people that just want to have their first corn snake, or and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but it can be tough to get rid of them. They also make great feeders if you want to freeze them. King snakes love them, so something to kind of keep in mind. We're not past this. Alex, do you have any? What are your plans for next year?
So I have 2 pairings planned for next year that I'm doing with Rock Creek Corns, my friend Alan.
Yeah.
We have my Snow Donna, which is my first snake that I ever got, is going to his Coral Snow Motley, Castiel. And then we're thinking Marge, the Ultramel Blood Red that I have, she proved out Anery, so I was thinking same male, just doing Coral Snow Motley and producing out Coral Ultramel Aneries, Diffuse Het Motley, and then taking those babies and putting them in the collection, because I have Motley, I have Diffused, I have Anery, and just eventually producing out some really nice red factor Ultramel granites or something like that.
Yeah. That'd be I think that's a good place to be. Those are good pair, dude. Look, Coral Snows, whether they're Motley or not, Coral Ultramel Aneries, whether they're Motley or not, are badass animals. We don't have enough of them, right? I want to hold every single one of them back. I've got a JMG Coral Snow from my buddy Mike over in California, and he is almost big enough to breed. Next year he'll be going to that snow. In that same vein of those yellow critters that I've held back, I also held back the exact same thing as that first snow y'all have seen. And she's Tessera, and she is starting to get that yellow in, and it's just like, oh my god, where is this coming from? Why does it keep doing this? So it could be a very big thing that I just got to start holding more back, which is okay. Justin's got a handful of that stuff in his collection now. Seeing that male Anery and how good he looks is just it makes me more excited to put that little King Midas to that snow female even more. Why not line breed it? Keep pairing it. Like, let's see what happens. Let's hold some back. If I get an Ultramel Anery Motley, ooh, that holds that yellow. Ooh, these nipples are getting hard just thinking about it. That's woo. It's exciting.
I haven't decided if I'm going to pair those Subox next season or not too. Those should be ready. It would be a small clutch, but
yeah, they're small clutches anyways.
There's those, and I'm planning to cool down the rhinos. I don't know that my female rhino will be big enough to pair. And then so I have that wild-caught male Baird's, and I have an undocumented female that has that really nice Eastern range look, Loma Alta-ish, super silvery. So I thought about maybe putting them together. Jance and I, Mike asked about Jance and I. So Jance and I have they're cohabbed like 24/7. Like they're in the same cage. They live together. They have a lay box. I check it periodically. I think the only reason I haven't really seen much from them is I need to start misting them like daily. And I need to start feeding them more regularly. So I need to sort of simulate a wet season. And I think maybe I would get some action out of them. The only reason I haven't been doing that is just because I've been preoccupied with other stuff. So I was saying last night in like the group chat that I'm not going to be successful with those if I'm going to continue to sort of do what I've been doing, which is not enough. So
they're definitely a species that seems like require a lot more attention.
See, I don't know, because I've also talked to some people that have produced some, and I've read a lot about them, and it sounds like they do it similar, where they just keep them together, but they notice reproduction seems to definitely be stimulated more by like misting and like rain and that kind of thing. So
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, they weren't babies when I got them, but they were still young, so they also may need another year or so before they really kick into gear and things start happening. So
yeah,
I got that one clutch from them. Was that last year? And they ended up just not being any good. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they're trying. Like, obviously, something's happening. So
Yeah.
we're on track. It's just
You got
I
eggs
gotta,
on the ground. Yeah,
I gotta spend more time, like, making sure I'm purposefully doing the things I need to do to sort of get them going. So
that's a species that trades hands a lot too, because people kind of don't want to deal with them. I guess they're not
pleasant. That's for sure.
They're not friendly.
I love them. Like, that's one of my.
They're badass. Dude, those
such a
things
cool
are
species of snake.
amazing.
Like, the fact that I even have some blows my mind. But I don't mess with them. You know, I really don't, unless I'm cleaning the cage, which I don't do that often either, because they, you know, they don't like interaction. They don't like being out in the open. They like to stay in their hides and, you know, do their thing. So
yeah,
we'll see on those.
Yeah, man, my fingers are crossed. I don't want any, right? Like, but they're just. I think it's just amazing species. I didn't even think about it. I've got a few pairs. I've got chocolate emery that I actually cohab, and have been doing really good since they were like little.
Mm-hmm.
They're big enough to breed. I'm not culling them just because, again, I've got to decide to not breed some stuff, or I will actually die. My South Mountain corns from Chris Montross, they're big enough. They've been cohab since they were babies, since they were little wiggle worms. And they're together. I'm not culling them. I don't think they're going to go this year. They could. If they do, exciting. You know, they're one of those ones that I have in my multi-setup large tubs. So they have cool side and warm side hides that I keep like eco earth in. So if they do decide that they're going to be laying eggs, I'll have an eye on them. Same thing I do with my Everglades rats. They've produced every year consistently for me. And I cohab them, which is like so fun. Whenever I'm interacting with those snakes, they're some of my favorites. In fact, when the new room is done, they're going to have a display cage. I'm going to get one of those black boxes. I think there's a 2 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot. Super excited to stick, these wild Everglades rats in there. And plus they're like, they are the snakes that watch you. They don't strike the glass. Well, I mean, they're in the tub, but they just watch you, and they like sit together, and they like put their heads on each other. And it's the only animal that I cohab, which I don't necessarily promote. If you're going to cohab things, pay attention to what you're doing. But when I feed them, I could literally hold both the mice at the same time, and one will take one and one will take the other, and they just kind of like sit there and eat it next to each other. And it's, anyways, they're the world needs more Everglades rats. Rosalie are just exceptional. On that note, I have 1.2 available eating frozen thawed. If anybody's looking for some F2 Hendry County Everglades rat snakes, hit me up. I just sent a female to.
I'll say the one you just sent to Jake is. I pulled that out of the box and was like, "This thing, those Texas rats you sent to Jake." I was like, "These are actually really nice." I know I have zero desire to keep any of them.
Yeah,
but I was like,
they're pretty.
These are nice.
Those Texas rats. Brian Lovins, he was in the chat earlier. He produced those. That's Morris County. He has some wild caughts, and I showed you the pictures of that male. He is straight up dark maul. He is black and red, with white highlights, and so I'm glad Jake has those. That was the last obsoleta that Jake didn't have, I believe. So now Jake has rounded the entire North American obsoleta complex with that pair of snakes. If memory serves me right, he does have Gulf hammocks, right?
He has the Dekurts.
He has Dekurts. He has Everglades. He has yellows. He has blacks. He has grays.
Or not.
I don't know if he has Gulf. He may still need Gulf hammocks.
He has those Santa Rosas.
Yeah, Santa Rosa white oaks, and he also has Appalachian white oaks, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
He's got the yellow. He's got tons of yellows. Great snakes. Then the blacks. I think he has some Spartanburg blacks.
He's got a big yellow rat that's awesome. We named him Rico. That snake is so cool.
One thing, man, my Everglades, when I pull them out, dude, they are some of the. They're a little like, hey, feed me when I open the tub. But when I actually get them out, man, they're so cool. They're just, and they're always the pair. They're always together as a pair.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird. And then when the female's gravid, the male just stays right away from her. I mean, if you've been around a pregnant female, you know. I mean, you straight up know what's going on. You leave her alone. You stay in that hide. I'm gonna stay in this hide.
You read the room.
Yeah, you read the room. I'm gonna binge Game of Thrones. You go do your thing. You know what I mean? You go do your thing.
You can choose your battles in that one.
Bill Bradley just said, I'm pretty sure he has golf ambitions. Yeah, so I think Jake now has the entire.
Yeah, he may. I can't keep up
complex
with him anymore. He's got so much stuff now. He's
many rat snakes.
He's exploded from Morelia to
that's good.
So many other things.
But he's still pairing Morelia, which is we all have our original loves, and so yeah, that's good. I'm excited. I don't know if I have any other things I'm going to pair.
I don't know if I'm going to do Dion's again. I'm on the fence about that. And then the Bimaculata, so I've had those together. That male's been trying, which has been weird because they've been cohab too, and I hear him constantly trying to get with her, which was odd because I got no action out of him after I cooled him, last winter. But then in mid-August, I hear him in there rustling trying. I'm like, what the hell? Like, this on paper that they should not be pairing then or trying to. Like, they should, if they read the book, they would know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. She's also got some sort of weird lump going on that I need to investigate a little more. So I don't know if those are going to happen. I know like pretty much everything that's 2 years and older is going to get cooled.
Okay.
Minus Chondros, minus Jansen I. And yeah, Bairds are up in the air. I haven't decided yet. Yes, the female's Beijing, the male is Siberian.
You have a female visual hypo bear dye, right?
Male. 2 males.
Oh, okay.
2 male visuals. And then I hatched out the 1 female het
okay.
this season that I held on to.
Nice.
She was the only one that 2 eggs that were surviving, and then the one just got late term and just stopped.
Yeah.
And then I have the one that hatched, and that's a female. So
perfect. Yeah.
Yep.
We got the female het. Anarine.
Yes.
Yeah, she's doing good.
She's got more time too. Yeah, I need to get her. I need to talk to Tim about another male.
Yeah. Whenever you're ready.
If that ever if that happens. So.
Yeah.
Chondro wise, I will say I've been kind of keeping it under wraps, keeping it to myself, except for a handful of people. I put some chondros together. I have two small 2018s that Luke Myers produced. They're clutch mates, and the homeboy's been trying. Man, I actually just checked a few minutes ago, and they may even be locked up. It's kind of hard to tell from the camera, but we have a cold front coming through. We got that hurricane that's supposed to be hitting us and won't be hitting us, and I'm watching him right now, and I mean he's definitely giving it his all.
Good.
So we'll see. This is going to be interesting because this is very experimental. This female, both of them are small, like they're 2018s, but this female, if I had to guess, she's probably somewhere between 350 and 400 grams. Like she's not big, but she's 4 years old, so she's of age.
Yeah. I
talked to Matt Morris, and I talked to Luke, and I talked to David Brahms, and sort of got their opinions on it, and was like, should I think I should at least give it a shot, whatever. And they all said, go for it. I think Andy Middleton has a female that's a 2018 that's similar size, and he was going to give her another year. So they're not Beox, so I think that's part of the X factor there is because they're a smaller group anyways. They're not the massive monster Beox that I've had in the past.
No, and I've seen proven females that people have brought to shows and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh man, what is that, like a yearling or a 2-year-old? They're like, oh no, it's a 6-year-old proven female. Yeah. And I'm like, no way. And they're probably in that 400 to 600 gram range. I wouldn't say they're any bigger than that.
So that's going to be interesting. And it's deceiving because when they're curled up, they look small, but then when you pull them out and they're actually
4 foot long,
they're long and they've got decent body weight, and it's like they totally could handle a small clutch. So we're gonna try it. Like I said, he's been every night. Like during the day, they're separated entirely. He's on one side, she's on the other, and then like at night, as soon as lights are out, it's game on, man. He's curled up with her right now.
Nice.
I it's hard to see for sure if there's like definitive locks, but he's definitely trying. I mean, she's not taking off from him right now, so I think that's a good sign. The first night I put them together, which was probably 2 weeks ago, she was like, I watched, because I set up my camera not so I can watch them like in real time, but so I can go back over that night and look and see what happened. Just to make sure, it's not stressing her out too much. And, the first introductions I found with the first pairing I did with those, the female's definitely going to be freaked out and is definitely going to avoid them as much as possible. But then over time, if you continue to introduce them and give them little breaks, but put them back together, she sort of gives it up and realizes that he's part of the cubicle now. And that seems to be the case now, because she seems to be much more receptive to him. And I mean, they're doing the sort of the classic pile on the perch thing. So
yeah,
we'll see. I'll check before I go to bed to see if they're locked or not. But I'm watching them right now, and he's all over her. So
that's super exciting, man. Yeah, I'd love
that'll
to
be
see
interesting.
you produce some chondros again. I remember your first clutch. Your first clutch of chondros was the second year I bred corn snakes, I think. And I remember you had just started the podcast, and I was like listening to your excitement each episode. They locked up. Okay, am I going to do maternal incubation? Am I going to do this? And then you got eggs, and you're so excited. And then it was like a weekly affirmation of just like excitement, just constant. Then you got eggs, and then you were this many weeks, and then and then they started pipping, and then dude, that's so I'm excited for you to be back, kind of in your roots of the podcast at least.
Mm-hmm.
So
like I said, it's very experimental because she's small. I don't know that a lot of people would have paired her at this size. They probably would have given her another year or two, but I'm giving it a shot. We're going to see what happens. It was kind of one of those things where it's like, it's either going to end horribly or it's going to be great. And I was willing to roll the dice. So
yeah,
not without plenty of consultation and thought.
Yeah, it's not like you went into this blind and we're just like, I need to breed snakes to sell them. Yeah,
but we'll see.
You went into it with a. You asked a lot. I know you had talked about in the group that you were talking to a lot of people about whether you should or shouldn't. I'm glad you decided to pair them up. I think a lot of these animals breed a lot smaller in the wild than we'll ever realize.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's sort of the problem. Is like I went back and looked at Terry Phillip and Julander's book. And they mentioned that I think Mutton had a female that was like 300 grams that bred and had a perfect clutch with almost 100% hatch rate, if not 100% hatch rate. Gary Schiavino had a really small female that produced at least one clutch. She was probably about the same size, if not slightly bigger than this female. And then, the problem is when you've just bred the Beox, it's very hard to have the context of what a female in any of the other localities / subspecies is.
Yeah.
At least in terms of like breedability. And I don't feed my chondros a ton, so these are already sort of on the smaller side. But like I said, she's 4 years old. I'm going to start definitely hammering them with food a little more to sort of help her sort of kick into gear, hopefully. But it was tough because it was like, she's 4 years old, but I was like, I don't know. It's hard to say whether she's big enough or not without seeing more animals with size sort of reference. It's hard to, it's
also like a litmus test too, right? Like if this fails horribly, you've set a baseline, and if this succeeds exceptionally, you've set another baseline, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know I've heard Rob Stone talk about breeding rhino rat snakes a lot smaller and a lot younger than people ever thought.
And I asked him about that too, because I have my rhinos and I'm going to cool them down. And I told him, I was like, I asked him for weights because I feel like weights are kind of age and weight are two really good baselines to go off of. I don't know that you should necessarily go off one over the other always. Yeah. But he said, feed the female a little more, get the males, get them a little more size. And I don't know. I mean, they may go. I sent him pictures and he's like, they might. He's like, they look like they could be by the time the time comes. Like, So I'm
It's
gonna
also
cool them
hard
down
to like
regardless, and we'll see.
not have that snake in somebody else's hands, right? Like I'm gonna send you a
Exactly.
picture.
Yeah.
Some of those females, I was looking at even our pictures, and it's like, man, those females look kind of small. But then like I look at them and I'm like, wait, I had a female last year that was smaller than you, like 16 eggs. I think Eric just made a perfect point. Biology is going to dictate whether she's going to go or not with egg and clutch size. I think an ovulating female is going to get those eggs out just fine if she has good sperm and they're good eggs.
Mhm.
I learned that with Leonis last year. My first pair of Leonis I produced last year was they were 4 years old, but they were small. They were just little. And John was over here, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to give him another year." And he's like, "Why?" And I was like, "They just seem small." And he's like, "No, they're not small. You think this animal in the wild isn't going to breed? Pair them up. Got 7 perfect eggs. You know what I mean?
And maybe that's the issue is people like we have the idea of captivity for some species, just like with chondros, where it's the old rule of like they have to be 1,000 grams, like no less. If they're not 1,000 grams, don't breed them. And it's like you think about that and like that's huge. Like that you're getting into the Biak size females that are just like the far end of the extreme of the bell curve in terms of like normal size for chondros, especially naturally. And so there's sort of like this push for maximum size, huge clutches, like that's sort of the standard of what people I guess are shooting for.
Yeah.
And it's like you can have a smaller animal and produce smaller clutches and still have just as much success as a massive animal with massive clutches and
and also you can have a perfectly healthy smaller animal that produces a perfectly healthy clutch that bounces back faster than you would ever imagine, and it's such a weird thing for people to think that it has to be this size. Now age maybe plays a little bit more of a factor than size, but if a female,
and that's if I'm gonna have to go by those rules, by either of those, be it age or weight, I'm gonna err towards age. 9 times out of 10.
Eric just said it again. I've had 180 gram corns go by accident. 180 gram corn is small female.
Yeah.
That's a I would say probably average 2-year-old snake, and I know I've seen snakes that size healthy put out perfectly healthy eggs and bounce right back and get ready to breed the next year. Nature doesn't really have rules. If a female in nature brumates, because that's how nature works, they brumate every year, right? Like they don't get a year off of brumation to fatten up by eating mice. They brumate because their geography, their actual natural habitat has dictated that they're going to brumate. If they come out and they're ovulating, you think that the males are just going to walk by and just go, "You're a little small. I'm going to wait another year. I'm going to get you next year." No, she's going to get bred by 10 males. You know what I mean? There's nothing in nature that says that an ovulating female it has any chance to not be bred. And I've seen very aggressive breeding just in my own collection. And I think that it's just something we need to realize. There's nothing wrong with breeding a small female if you have preparations and ideas in place to. And you know what? Maybe she doesn't bounce back. I had a first-year female go last year. She didn't bounce back. I'm not going to breed her again because I want to see a little bit more weight put on her. Was she small? Yeah. Did she lay 16 eggs like a fucking psychopath? Yeah, she did. So yeah, was 16 eggs a little much? Yeah, I was really hoping on like 8. But so she'll take a year off. That was, but I didn't do anything wrong, right? She ovulated. She was 3 years old. She did the thing. Let's see. First corn I ever caught was 26 inches long and thin looking, but laid perfect clutch of 12 normal size eggs. There you go, 26-inch long female. See, and JT just said a perfect thing. One of the worst things that happens is when you don't pair the female and she gets egg bound with slugs. It's when you have males with bad sperm, or you have a female that ovulates and throws slugs. It sucks. It's a thing, man. They are designed to breed. These animals were designed to reproduce at a certain age. They start ovulating. It is natural evolution, right? Like it's what they have to do.
So what Scott said is, he said, thin-looking wild animals or normal-looking wild animals. Captivity puts an incorrect idea of appearance, which is kind of what I was talking about with the the whole size thing and our perceived or what we would think is ideal structure and size, it's warped severely to what natural history and wild populations would do. So, yeah, I mean, he also said neither the age or the weight is a rule, and I think in nature, absolutely. I think in captivity, it's a slightly different scenario because they don't have, if we're pairing stuff, they don't have the ability to fully get away from a male.
Yeah.
We have parameters in place that take the sort of natural aspect of it and how it would or wouldn't happen out of the equation. Oh boy, look at that shirt.
Oh damn, y'all ain't seen this right here. I got that good. Woo! We out here just repping a network. You know what I mean? The best network that ever existed.
And I even talking to Matt Morris about the chondros. I asked a lot of guys, like, what's the smallest female you've had go, and none of them really had any small females. I think Matt said the smallest he had was around 400 grams, if I recall. So it was one of those things where it's like, I feel fairly confident that she'll do okay if she does go. I'm not going to have any problems. And it was one of those things where if I really thought that it would not work out well, or she would really struggle, and I'd possibly lose her, then I wouldn't have done it. So
I don't think that snake's going to ovulate and produce eggs if she's not going to lay them, right? I don't think that's the case. A male could breed a female that's not ovulating and nothing's going to happen, right? I have a AML Motley that we were just talking about that for 2 years has been paired up with my male that'll nail a water bowl, and yeah, I mean, maybe she's just not ovulating. Maybe she's never going to ovulate, right? So it's definitely a thing. And yeah, I think that's Eric and JT are having that conversation that's right along lines.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Never had a snake die of egg binding with good eggs, only slugs. And it's every time you push that egg out of a snake that didn't make it. I had a snake die egg bound 4 years ago. Had a silver queen ghost, and she died egg bound. Pushed those eggs out. I had to push them out. I had to see what they look like.
Well, it was wild too because I didn't. When you told me about the whole male thing, to me that at first that was like that. That doesn't seem like that could be the cause. Males infertile or low sperm count, and then just not getting fertile eggs, and because those slugs are the way they are, like the female, that's what causes the egg binding. And the more I thought about it after you talked about it, I was like, that actually makes absolute sense.
Yeah.
And that very well could have been what the problem was with this, with those blood reds over the season. She got egg bound, and very slowly she eventually got them all out. And I was, we talked about it a couple episodes ago. I wasn't sure exactly what was going to happen. I mean, I kept a really close eye on her, and she was acting completely normal and fine. And every now and then, like every other week, she'd pop out a slug. Yeah. And eventually they all, she got them all out. So
in the wild, those males brumate perfectly. In your house, they don't. In the wild, those males have different stressors than what we're putting on them. In our house, they don't. Males, every time you ship a male, don't breed it. ship males during cooling season or something. You know what I mean? For some reason, males just don't breed well after they've been shipped. Hell, if you ship me a male, ship it to me right after brumation, and I'm not going to breed it and then let me brumate it the next season and breed it. Just it's every time I've been in that situation, every time I've had a male sent to me, or every time I bought an adult pair close to brumation, I think they need to establish themselves better. Temps need to get more regulated on the male. There's the idea that you can actually overheat a male and cook their sperm. So maybe you get a male in that you're planning on breeding. Let him cool down a little more. Keep these snakes at 78. It's not going to hurt them.
Yeah.
And go from there. That's kind of those weird little oddities. We're talking about, specific niches within a niche hobby. But I think the males are where the problem is, because females don't produce slugs in the wild. I don't think. You know what I mean? I just maybe. One
I'm sure they do, but I'm sure it's from a pre-existing condition of some sort. I don't think it's necessarily the fault of the male or the vitality of the the sperms or whatever. But
yeah,
I don't know. But it is interesting watching the chondros the first time I bred them, because I cohabbed them for months. I'd split them up periodically to feed them, but for the most part they stayed together. And watching how dead on with like the schedule of the weather and things they were, like that we got a period where it was warm, and it would be December, or this time of year, no action. Soon as like storms came through or cold front came through, he was all over. And as soon as he figured out he got the job done, he would be on one side, she'd be on the other. And it's just like watching them. I've said this a million times on all the other shows and stuff, but it's like when it comes to the chondros and really anything else for that matter, they're gonna know what's going on better than we will.
Yeah.
That male's gonna be more clued in on when his window is than we will. And watching those chondros that first time, it was so bizarre, because it was like it got to the point to where like I would look at the weather and I'd be like, okay, I'll bet you they're going to be locked up, these 3 days, because that's when we're going to get a cold front, and that's before things warm up again. And sure enough, it'd be just like that. So it was just wild to watch it in action and see. Because I had them paired from June until she laid in, I think it was December, late December, maybe early January. And I would just see the spikes and the dips, the peaks and valleys of interest and stuff go. And it was really interesting. And I'm sure you would see a similar thing with pretty much any species if you cohabbed them and had the, could watch that happen in a cage, not necessarily a rack.
Yeah.
So it's and Eric said it well too. He's like, he thinks females in the wild are more fit and active than captive counterparts. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. That female blood red, she was pretty chunky. She slimmed down a little bit, and it's because I haven't been feeding her as much. I've been cutting her back some, and she's now looking kind of exactly where I want her to be in prep for cooling and the next season. So,
I mean, these snakes don't get fed a perfect lab mice every week in the wild.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? They're probably, if the chance comes up, they're eating more than one, and they're probably metabolizing for a lot longer than we think. Also, the temps are not always perfect, right?
Yeah.
They've got to go to find where their spot is. A cold front might come in, a rainstorm might come in, and they just, the snakes are more in tune to that than we are. I have no idea what barometric pressure is when I step outside. Maybe to some extent. I mean, it feels like a storm's coming or something. But we have meteorologists that tell us, so we've kind of dumbed down to those senses, right? We don't need to know that a cold front's coming. KIII News already told us. So there's a lot of that. Those snakes have to learn that. It's the only way they survive. It's the only way they made it out of their first year of life moving, right? So yeah, and I think it's also one thing with your chondros. I don't think the male's going to go after the female unless she's ready. She's got to be ovulating.
Yeah,
she's gotta be,
for sure. And I don't even necessarily know that it's an ovulation is the necessary trigger there, because, seeing him as soon as the lights are off, he's going hard. As soon as the lights are on, everything's on in the morning. He goes to his end and he just chills. I mean, there's a very clear and sort of purposeful break in behavior, between the two. I mean, obviously they're nocturnal animals, crepuscular, whatever you want to call them. My chondros aren't active during the day. When the lights are off, they're all moving around. So nocturnal. Whatever people want to call it. And it's like I said, they're just like they're turned on, and then when the lights are off or on, they're turned off. It's very clear.
Yeah.
He's not trying to breed her during the day. I checked. I watched it work. I tune in periodically to see what they were doing, if they were doing anything. Curled up, sleeping. She's on the other end, curled up, sleeping. Soon as I cut those lights off, though, like within 10 or 15 minutes, he's on her, though. So. Yep.
There, go take 2 corn snakes right now. Go throw them in the same tub. See what happens. Male and a female. Adults. Big adults. 4-foot adults. Nothing's going to happen. But brumate those animals, get them out, feed them up, get that first shed off the female, throw them together, and man, that boy's gonna go crazy.
I don't know, man. I got some males that I think would at least try it.
Just,
Whether or not
just
she
ready
let
to
them
go.
actually get that far, yeah. The
That's,
Bairds too. I think the Bairds almost even more so than the Corns. Like that first year I bred Bairds, like I didn't cool them down hardly at all. They stayed in the room. I didn't even brumate them. Like I literally cut them off heat, and then whatever the natural light cycle was for the room with the window and everything, that's what they got. And I took them off food, and they were in like the low to mid 70s, I think, at the coldest. And I paired them together, and she did better that year than she did this year when I cooled them off like proper.
Yeah, that's like, you know, my Janai, I'd be pairing them up. I'd be pairing my Janai up Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
That's my normal time, and then just cohabit them until about January when I could tell the females gravid, and then pulling them apart, getting eggs in February, March. I'm not doing that this year. I'm going to brumate them this year. There's a potential that I don't produce any Janai. I understand that. My heart already breaks thinking about it. But I want to brumate them and see if I can actually produce females. That's the goal this year. We're going to try to produce females. And I'm going to see that if brumation kicks that off. Most people brumate their Janai. So
maybe not.
You know what's funny? I've stuck my vertebralis together already. I had my female shed, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm just throwing them together. And I can't tell what's going on with those snakes. They're so nervous, and they just stay in the hide together. And so that gives me until around Thanksgiving when I'm going to start brumating stuff, and I'll be able to tell if she's gravid, right? Like I'll be able to tell if anything's took. God, I hope I figure those snakes out. You know, everybody.
I will say though, like chondros make it easy because they like
they're year round, right?
I mean, no, it's the fact that they're always out. Like there's no hiding. They sit on a perch, and when you put them together, they pile on top of each other, and it's like if they're really locked, it's usually pretty obvious because their tails are dangling together.
Yeah,
it's like it makes it so easy. You know, with corns, it's like, yeah, I heard him rustling around and stuff. I don't know if he actually did it though. You know,
that's one thing I like about king snake breeding, is with the Alterna and stuff. It's like that male only has one thing on his mind, and he is breeding, and he goes straight to it. And then, you know, it's funny. Alterna Leonas breed for like 30 seconds of very, very intense breeding, and they're done. And then your Getula stuff. You know, I did the Eastern Black Kings a couple years ago, and the Conjuncta this year. And they breed non-stop. They breed for hours and hours and hours and hours, and there's sperm everywhere. And finally, the female's just dragging the male around, and it's like, bro, just give it up. And he's all, nah, dog, we ain't done till I say we done. I ain't heard no bell. and then you have to stay awake. You have to stay awake because you know the female's gonna eat the male immediately afterwards because they're absolute idiots. But yeah, that's, you know, so it's funny. It's, you know, we have Lampropeltis and they breed in different ways, but it's, you know, my corns, I do not have corns that go straight to breeding. Everybody talks about being able to watch them breed. And I'm like, dude, I brumate these things the same as all my other stuff. My Pituophis, the male grabs the female behind the neck and he wraps her up, and they're doing this crazy breeding thing. My corn snakes, I'm just like, I'll see them lock up, but it's like randomly. I don't get really aggressive breeding out of my males. Maybe you know, I brumate them the same as mostly everything else other than my really deep cold Lampros. So I don't know. Even my Chinese beauties, I cooled them like with my corns. They cooled with my corns, and they're very aggressive breeders, right? Like the male had no interest in that female, none, until the day she shed, and oh man, he locked up with her,
uncorking.
You could not stop him. And God, you're talking about two pissed off snakes that are locked up. And then, you know, I paired them up a couple times, and that was super exciting last year. I think my female's grown a foot this year. She is massive. So hopefully, last year I got 4 eggs. Hopefully this year I get a couple more. That's a hell of a species. If anybody's looking for a species that you can keep same temps as a corn, but maybe a little bit,
like 6 times bigger.
They get they're long. They're long, but they're thin. They're a little feistier. You know, they don't. I don't feed mine as often. I don't feed mine weekly. I don't know. I'm sure other people out there do feed them weekly. I keep mine a little cooler, and I keep mine a little higher humidity, and I keep mine on like a Reptile chip.
Mhm.
But dude, they're so fun to work with. I love them. They're just badass snakes. They're not, you're probably not gonna take that one out and let the kids hold it.
Yeah, I think the Jansen and I are enough for my big angry Asian snake fix. So.
Yeah. I think Jansen and I are bigger though. Jansen and I are big.
They're heftier for sure. Like they definitely have more weight to them.
Yeah, I think my 03 Opus are somewhere between 5 and 6 foot. I don't know. I could never measure one because they just don't stop moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As much as I want to pull the Jansen eye out and play with them, it's
Do it.
They take no shit.
They're biters too, right?
Oh yeah.
See, my beauties will only bite as a feeding response. Once I got them out, they won't bite.
Yeah, no, I got bit by the female once, and I was holding her, and she was acting completely normal, and all of a sudden I felt her grab my forearm, and I was like, oh, okay.
This is just what we're doing now.
Yeah, I was like, sure, But what do you think the vertebralis though? What's the what do you think you're missing there with the?
It
the
could
process?
be, and I'm totally willing to admit that I'm just too humid, and I can't do anything about that.
Right.
I've talked to a couple of people that have bred them, and they're like, yeah, I brumate them like I brumate everything else. I throw them together in spring and they breed. They're super easy to breed. And I'm like, well, I did that last year. Last year mine were 4 years old. I'm going to try it again this year. I'm going to see what happens with pairing them in kind of the winter or in the fall, like I did with my Jani, or I have the last few years with my Jani. See what happens. Like, let's just see if maybe that's just how my room works. Maybe it's the drop in humidity that happens during the fall here, which is kind of weird. We get more rain, way more rain in the fall than we do during the summer. But because of, I say this is weird. I'm sure there's somebody that knows how weather and shit works. That's just like, you're dumb, Chris. But because we're so hot and we're so close to the ocean, our humidity is just insane, just thick, breathable humidity. It's disgusting. I love it. But yeah, in the winter is when I like hate here because there's no humidity. Right? It's all dry air. My boogers are all caked up. I get nosebleeds. I hack like an old man. But maybe it's that drop in barometric, or not, just drop in humidity, even with the more rain that we get, that made the Jani go. And we'll find that out, right? Like we're gonna experiment within our collections, which is something we just have to do. Because I want those vertebrales to go so bad, dude. I love that species so much. And I don't even talk about them that much just because I'm just like, all right, leave them alone. Let them do their thing. They eat great.
Pretend they don't exist.
Yeah, pretend they don't exist. Keep them clean. Hopefully they breed. I think I've got a list of people that want some. About 20 names long now. But we'll see. But once I figure them out, hopefully they stay figured out. And that'll be a special thing to have reproducing. And again, I've tried what I've tried now. We're going to see the results of that. If that doesn't work, we're going to brumate them again and go from there. Maybe we'll brumate them a little warmer this time. I won't put them into the deep freeze. I'll brumate them like my corns, and we'll just.
Yeah.
I don't know. A lot of the other stuff, the northern pines, really easy breed. Get them super cold, get them out, let them shed. They immediately start breeding. They breed a lot. Gophers. I don't even know if I would actually have to brumate my gophers. But I brumate my gophers with my corn snakes. They breed easy as pie. It's like Everglades. Don't brumate them at all. They just breed every year around the exact same time. So yeah, every.
So for those though, do you still take them off food?
No, they get fed.
Do everything as you normally do, and then when it's time, you just put them together.
I feed mine again. I'm not feeding them weekly. I'm feeding about every 10 days. Maybe 2 weeks I'll give them a chick. Maybe I'll give them a small rat. Usually it's just a large mouse. Every 10 days.
Yeah.
And the natural light cycle, the natural cooling in the room, that's going to happen regardless. My winter temps are 74, 75.
My room's already getting nice and cool.
Yeah.
It's been up and down lately here with the temperatures and stuff, but my room is definitely getting cooler at night, even if it's warmer during the day, like abnormally warm for the time of year. It's definitely dropping at night.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's doing a lot for all of them in there.
dude, those Everglades are shockingly easy, and I kind of love that about them because they're so pretty and they're so neat. And then I just lay them together.
Yeah.
You could not have an animal with easier care. That's my plan with them is I'm going to do something like kind of semi-bioactive, little display enclosure. Just let them do their thing, right? And they'll probably stay in that room in a nice display something, and so that I'm going to be in that room more often than this room. This room is going to be a little bit more stock standard stuff, and this room will not have the temperature variances that room does. This room's completely enclosed, or will be completely enclosed. I talk about it like it exists, but it'll be completely enclosed and more temperature control. But it'll also allow me to really drop temps a little easier on my accord. But yeah, Mike Kazicki just said everybody should have Everglades. I agree. That's a great species. I think Brian Lovins, who was in the chat earlier, has some actually available. I think they're head scaleless. I don't remember. He has a scaleless Everglades rat, which is a very interesting looking animal. Which there's some obsolete mixing going on in there that scaleless came from. Anyways, it doesn't matter. It comes from Texas rats, but they're neat looking critters. But yeah, Everglades rats are just neato skidito. I don't know. More people need to have those in their collections, just from ease of care, ease of breeding, and just general temperament.
I had one once. It's a little baby.
They're cool.
It was all right.
But yeah, other than that, lychees, guards. Gonna be doing leopard geckos next year. I'm excited about that. I got a little selection of leopard geckos now. Some really neat stuff. Picked from some really, really good people. And so my kid is obsessed with them. She's obsessed with them. She wants them all in her room. She's like, no, Daddy, Daddy, can I have these in my room? And I'm like, no, because I've had snakes, I've had geckos her whole life, obviously. And she doesn't want to get anything out. She wants me to get it out for her, and then she'll kind of like mess with it and stuff. The leopard geckos, she straight up just like walks in the room, which she only goes in there with me. I keep it; it's locked usually. But she comes in there with me and just yanks open the tub, and she's like, "Daddy, look, I love this one so much. Its name is Princess. I'm naming everything Princess." So, orchid corns.
Orchid corns, Alex.
Sup, Alex? Sup?
I have the one orchid I thought was blood red. Turned out to be just mask. So
yeah, that's the one
I'm gonna need to make more of them or get more of them and breed it. But yeah, I sent you pictures of it.
Mm-hmm.
Alex, tell us what an orchid is. I don't remember. Lavender and something.
Lavender sun-kissed. Lavender sun-kissed makes an orchid, and then the one that I bought is possibly like red factor mask. So it's got the split belly checkers. Hopefully het for diffuse, possibly het hypo.
Nice.
So
dude, lavender's good. Lavender's good.
And I got a bunch of plasmas too that I'm going to pair him to.
So plasma is pewter hypo?
Is diffuse lavender.
Okay, diffuse lavender. Okay.
Yep. So my planned pairing on one of the pairings at least is going to come from I got an opal blood red motley. So AML lavender blood red motley.
Okay.
Pair that one's also 100% het for cinder. So she's just like just pink. Like she's just losing patterning, pure pink.
That's badass.
And I'm thinking of putting that together and seeing if I can't hold back some het cinder offspring and try to make, I don't know, blood red. It's gonna be blood red lavender shatters. Eventually, I don't even know what they would look like. It'd be so hard to be like, this is definitely it. It's gonna be so many hats.
That's fun. That's Eric said he's working red factor strawberry orchids.
Ooh.
There you go. I think he produced some I think they were plasma charcoals. I think that's what he produced.
Eric has plasma charcoals.
Bad.
I got from Eric this year. I got probable red factor, strawberry plasma motley.
Okay.
And then I believe that's possibly het for anery.
Okay.
That thing's beautiful looking.
Yeah, I bet. That's badass.
Yeah. So good.
so much good shit in corn
I
snakes.
know.
That's just, it's hard to not. I try to not only focus on corn snakes because I don't want to like zone in too much on one thing, but it's so hard to not, you know what I mean? Like, just, oh, I want more of this and I want more of that and I want more of this and I want to breed this to this and see what happens in a couple of years when I start breeding it back. And yeah. Those plasma charcoals, those are hot. Those are it's good stuff, man. That's you know, sun-kissed charcoals are pretty cool. Orchids
sun-kissed
are obviously,
anything's cool.
yeah. Plasma is lavender diffused.
Yeah.
Lavender
diffuse.
Lavender diffused charcoal. I think he had lavender diffused charcoal sun-kissed. I think he had sun-kissed. I know he had charcoal sun-kissed too, which is just bad.
Yes.
So obviously, I mean, maybe he'll chime in. Yeah, those are those 4 genes kind of mixed together is just that's party time right there. That's all good.
Honey and castagna. That's all that matters.
I don't know what a honey castagna would look like. You know, you got caramel.
We're going to eventually find out.
Yeah.
I don't know what a caramel castagna looks like. I'm sure it exists.
They do. It's honestly kind of looks like that Stripe Boy, but not as great, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's just like super yellow up front, and then it just starts fading out.
And then you take the sun-kissed on top of that, making your honey castagna, and I think you've got a winning combination. I do hope in the next couple of years to get some terrazos, just to be able to have that. I'd like to see what terrazzo looks like mixed with a few different things. I think that kind of got thrown on the wayside because of tessera. I think that's the reason terrazzo's not too implemented in the hobby is because tessera exists. But terrazzo's are neat. You know, it's another pattern mutation, right? And then Motley and Stripe. I love Motley stuff. I love Stripe stuff. I've decided they both piss me off. Terrazzo. I have seen terrazzo tesseras, and they kind of look like almost like a shattered tessera. I think, right, Alex? Have you seen?
Yeah.
It's like a really broken up, messy tessera, right?
Okay.
Terrazzo tessera.
I'm more anxious to see these Ladies Island Het Ghost tesseras grow up, man. Because
what is that going to look like as an adult?
Those things are just there's 2 in particular, and they just keep getting better and better and better and better.
They don't. That is not what I thought was going to happen. Right?
I didn't know what was going to happen. I was like, these will probably look good, but you know, and then they started coming out. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, they look just beat. I don't know. They're really messy tesseras, which is not what. Every time I take tessera and put it into anything, I get stock standard looking tesseras, and then you put it into a wild caught corn, and then it's just like, well, that's not how that works. So that's exciting.
Here's a curve ball.
Yeah, we have all of those still, right, between the 2 of us.
I'll be right back.
Yep.
Good. I want to take that tessera and pair her to the F1 Ladies Island you sent me, and get the genes out, get all the anery out, get all the hypo out. Try to keep her. Obviously, these things will always be possible hets, right? We're not going to get out of that. But the next generation will be one more to remove from that, and then take the best ones, and then take just the tesseras and keep breeding them back and back, and then let's see what wild, ridiculous looking thing comes out. It's going to be.
Yeah, that'll be a 2024 thing too. Is one of the male Ladies Islands that I produced last year. Is probably going to go back to mom.
Okay.
So
that'll be
interesting.
Yeah. See what happens. I mean, taking an F1 to an F1 is one of the most exciting things. So if you take that neat pattern one you got and take it to an F1 male, even from the same clutch, that is going to be cool because anything that was hanging on refines itself when it's F1 to F1, right?
Yep.
We could take it back. That's like Mac, the 2 kids from Mac that I'm pairing up, the 2 high yellows, right? I'm gonna call it high yellow until I really got it nailed down what it is. Now I'm not taking them back to Mac. I'm not taking them back to the mom. I'm not taking them back to that. I'm taking them to each other. Let's see what that yellow does. And what kind of sucks is I know they're all going to come out looking like pretty stock standard morph iterations. But how does that compound itself? Do I get something with more yellow? Will I get something within just a couple sheds? I'll be able to see the yellow, and I don't know. don't know. Is it Tequila Sunrise or is it Paint Shop Sunrise? Y'all heard it here first.
There you go.
Badlands Sunrise.
The Badlands Sunrises. Let's go. We'll see.
Well,
It'll be definitely interesting to see. Yes.
I'll just send them to both of y'all and not sell them because I don't like selling snakes. So I'm just gonna keep giving my snakes away to friends.
you won't get an argument from me.
Just keep sending you stuff, man. I'm gonna send to Alex too.
I'll gladly take them. I'll use them. I'll plug them in.
Any
Just
closing
keep refining it. Keep refining it. Yeah.
closing remarks?
Super excited for the next season. Can't wait to see what everybody's producing. Gonna be real interested to see where everybody's like projects are going.
Same thing. I'm super excited. I'm going to be doing some new pairings next year.
Yeah.
Stuff that hasn't bred. That gets me excited just thinking about it. I'm again excited to see what y'all are doing, what other people are doing, what Eric's doing, what JT's doing, and what Mike's doing. All the people we're talking to on a regular basis. What's the outcome? What's the final on all this? You know, it's super. Every year it just gets better. It just gets better. You know.
Yeah, this was fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, this was super fun. Are you
Nice
going
to
to
see it
make
sort of on paper?
Were you going to make shirts available? Are we going to do that next year?
CornStar shirts?
Or the draft shirts? You
Oh.
know, you'd said that you could make a draft shirt. I guess you can kind of make.
I
Any shirt
could.
you
Yeah, I thought about it. I never got around to actually doing it. So
Maybe next year we'll do some shirts, and sell them, and see if we can make some money for charity or something. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
this is fun, guys. I appreciate y'all spending your time with me. I needed this. It's cathartic.
Well, this episode was brought to you by BlackBoxCages.com. Check them out. Check out the website. Hunt us down on Facebook and Instagram. Awesome racks, awesome cages. Can't vouch for them enough. Great quality products that you will not regret getting your hands on. And then if you're looking for some just incredible corn snakes, stay in the loop with Silent Hill Reptiles. Facebook, Instagram, really good stuff. So we will see everybody later. Snakes and Stogies is happening Monday because THP ain't happening tomorrow because we did this tonight. So which works out because we got some friends coming into town. And Chris is flying off to Austin.
But well, I mean, I'm driving, but yeah.
Same thing.
I'm going to be at Dripping Springs for a wedding at a distillery, the Treaty Oak Distillery. So I'm pretty excited. And Bill, I saw what you said. I saw what you said in the chat. Bill, I'm in. You know, just hit me up. Let me know what day I'm there.
You're gonna hit up the Romacraft headquarters?
You know, I've never been there. It is in North Austin. Dripping Springs is southwest Austin. I'm going to be about 45 minutes to an hour out of actual Austin proper, so no. But when you do come to Texas and we hang out, maybe we'll mosey on up there and do it because I want to go be a weasel. I want to be a weasel.
So I went to the shop today, side note, and they had some Romacraft hats and some Romacraft like steel bottles with the logo on them and stuff. And I gotta talk to Raj about how I gotta get I'm sure I have to buy a box or something to get them, but
yeah, right.
Might have to do that.
Romacraft is great, man. It's good stuff. I still have saber-tooths and one blackjack. It's the blackjack, the one with the green on it.
Black Irish.
Black Irish. I still have a black Irish. I've been just sitting on years, just save.
I can't do it, man. I'm gonna enjoy it.
I know.
I'm not gonna sit and look at it. I'm gonna smoke it.
I have too many.
I have an Aquitaine. That was my backup for the if we had time. So very
cigars. Not enough.
Alex, thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
fun episode.
It was a good episode. Thanks again. Follow me at Keystone Corns on Instagram.
Do it.
Awesome.
And go to our Facebook page, THN Facebook page. Cast your vote for the THN People's Choice Award. We need votes. We need nominees. There's only going to be a few more days left. I think on the 15th, I'm going to close it. And then whatever we have from that is what people will end up voting on from there. So go cast your vote. It doesn't have to be someone that we've had on any of the shows or anything necessarily. Just someone that you think deserves recognition.
Yeah, vote.
And then we're gonna be doing. We got to get together, the THN gang, and figure out our people of the years.
Yeah,
Peoples of the year.
we're gonna have to usher in the next herpetoculturist of the year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 'cause
Losers.
Chris was
You ain't first, you're
man of
last.
the year last year, so we enjoyed doing that so much
it's
that
fun,
we
man.
decided to expand it this year. So we're gonna have the People's Choice Award where people vote and pick who they want to be the People's Choice.
Yeah.
But then each show is gonna have its Person of the Year, and then I think we're gonna maybe do a combined THN Person of the Year.
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like we continually keep changing the plan, but
we're not the best.
I think that'll be probably one of the last shows of the year, if not the last show of the year. But it'll be good.
Yeah, I'm super stoked. And I think that's Scott, Nature for You. Just said tough act to follow. Thanks so much. That's entirely too sweet, and coming from you, that's extremely extremely appreciated. I appreciate it, guys.
Just for that, we're now picking Ty instead of Scott.
Bring her on. Awesome.
All right. Thanks, y'all.
Love you guys. Everybody have a great night.
Later.